You're welcome back. This is the big issue. We are live on 97.3 Citi FM. We're also live on Facebook. This morning, two matters on the table. One has to do with the Electoral Commission's limited voter registration exercise. We want to look at the matters that have arisen so far, a few technical challenges here, and the EC says they have dealt with those. Indeed, the NDC has also been speaking about the biometric devices and all of that, the missing ones, and now they want the serial numbers to the biometric devices being used. The EC says, no, we cannot make the serial numbers available to you because it may raise security concerns. The NDC says, no, we already have them. We just wanted you to give them to us officially. Because in any case, every morning before they start the exercise, there's a form which is filled, and these numbers are on the forms already. So we'll still go ahead and get those from our agents. What really are the security concerns the EC is afraid of? And if it were a security concern, why would those serial numbers be available, in any case, on the forms that the agents fill every morning before they start with the registration exercise? We'll look at all of that and also deal with matters of minor registration. The police in the Western region arrested some two officers of the two major parties at Impoho, and we understand they have since been granted police inquiry bail and all of that. Also, we'll look at Akufo-Addo's comment and John Mahama's response about protecting Akufo-Addo's legacy. John Mahama said he will not protect any legacy of corruption, misgovernance, and mismanagement of the economy. The war of words appear to be growing as the elections approach. We'll look at what the legacy means and what John Mahama and the NDC also see about that. My name is Selom Adonu. Let me just provide you with some updates on some of the matters we'll be looking at. So the Ghana's Electoral Commission began a 21-day limited voter registration exercise on Tuesday, May 7, to register potential voters ahead of the crucial December 2024 general elections. Despite earlier assurances, the exercise experienced a major setback on the first day as several places encountered technical challenges. While some of the centers faced network challenges, others could not print out cards to newly registered voters. Our reporters were on the ground and they have filed these reports.
Confusion rocked the former head office of the Electoral Commission at North Ridge in the Korle-Klottey constituency as Citi News arrived. The ongoing limited voter registration came to an abrupt halt to around 12 p.m. on Tuesday, May 7, due to network and technical challenges. Among those affected was 21-year-old nursing mother Jennifer Drasa, who expressed her frustration to Citi News.
I came here to like 8 in the morning. The machine too is not working this morning and shouting, they are making noise here. And I have a baby girl too. They are not making the thing sharp for me, and I'm here too late. So now they are bringing a new machine to here to come and do the thing for us. Thank you.
I saw you planning yourself with a baby.
Yes, there's heat here. Yes.
Make you feel?
There's heat here. I feel bad, pa.
The 21-day registration exercise aims to enroll over 500,000 voters nationwide. However, John Inkansa, the first person to arrive at 3 a.m. at the center, fearing long queues, also voiced his concerns to Citi News.
Now you're first person. I got 12. Basically, you register will be almost then an issue, then I'm okay. I was just a machine. I say, I don't know, you much. Imagine say, I'm my first and last. I have a bar to be basic. And to a to machines no for anymore. I'm sure I'm on Tom no
A similar situation unfolded in the Ladade-Kotopon constituency, where the Member of Parliament urged the Electoral Commission to prevent such issues from recurring in the upcoming general elections.
Political party representatives busied themselves at the various voter registration centers as they mobilized new applicants to the centers in defiance of a warning issued by the Electoral Commission against busing applicants. A leading member of the National Democratic Congress, Kojo Bonsu, justified the move by the political parties, citing the burden of transportation costs on the applicants.
Young people who this time is their first time in voting would have to commute, move from one place to another to go and register. It's not worth it. So you're encouraging the parties to bus people, and it can create a problem.
Some of these applicants arrived at the centers as early as 7 a.m. on Tuesday and remained resolute to go through the process amid technical hitches.
We've been standing in the sun waiting. When they came in the morning, there was a network problem, so we couldn't start in the morning. It was around 11 that they told us that it was okay to start.
The Electoral Commission assured that it was working to resolve the concerns.
These are technical issues. We only describe it to them and the technicians are working on them.
The Ashanti Regional Security Council says it has deployed adequate security at the various centers.
All right, so you heard those reports from our correspondents across the country. Now, the Electoral Commission has explained that the challenges were resolved by midday on Tuesday, allowing the exercise to proceed smoothly in almost all the registration centers nationwide. In an interview on Citi TV's Face to Face with Umaru Sanda Amadu, the Director of Electoral Services of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Siribo Kwaku, assured of a smooth registration exercise.
In the morning we were having this feedback, but now I'm told that almost all the challenges have been addressed.
So network issues are out?
Network, yes.
Okay.
In the morning they were there, but before I came here, almost all of them have been addressed.
When you say network, earlier you were explaining to me that the network is not our internet network. What kind of network is it?
No, the system uses, for example, those who are going outside their district capital, they have to use it. They're using the Turbonet
okay,
to link to the system.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes.
So that's internet.
No, not internet. It's just
Turbonet is internet.
Okay, well.
But
what I mean is that you cannot go on and you can't take your laptop and say that because internet you are there to do. That's what I meant. So you have to be within our system.
Have you tried to diversify your internet services?
No. What we did was that we asked the various officers to identify the most reliable
network
system.
Service provider.
So they provided the system, then we went.
So every area will get what they ask for.
Exactly so.
Okay. How about your laptops, their batteries, the power issues, and all that?
So our laptop at the offices, we have the electricity and the rest, and we have also requested for generators. So in case we are having challenges with electricity, you resort to the generators.
So this your generator thing is for all your.
You had the Director of Electoral Services of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Siribo Kwaku, speaking to my colleague Umaru Sanda Amadu earlier in the week there on the face-to-face program on Citi TV. Now, the NDC wants the Electoral Commission to permit its agents to document the serial numbers of the biometric voter registration kits being used for the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. The party asserts that disclosing the serial numbers is necessary, particularly in the light of reported missing BVR kits at the EC headquarters. There is more in the following report.
Democratic Congress NDC says it is keenly monitoring the limited voter registration exercise to ensure that the process is transparent. As part of its measures to guarantee that this agenda is achieved, the party has requested its agents to record or document the serial numbers of the BVR kits being used for the exercise. The EC in a statement noted that releasing the serial numbers to external parties could pose major risks to the security and integrity of the electoral system and its operations. The EC said it has put measures in place to ensure the transparency of the ongoing exercise, stating it has nothing to hide. However, during a press conference, NDC Chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketa stressed that if the EC has nothing to conceal, it should allow its agents to record the serial numbers.
What does the EC have to hide? What is their fear over the mere recording of the serial numbers of these BVR kits, knowing very well some have been stolen under your watch? Some have been stolen under your watch. We say, let us track and protect those that are yet to be stolen. And you are resisting. Are you not part of the thieves? Is there something they are hiding from the public? Will our precautionary measure not prevent the criminals who stole the BVR kits from using them to illegally register people? If the EC has nothing to hide, they should just allow all willing political parties to record the serial numbers of BVR kits during this limited voter registration exercise.
Johnson Esiedu-Nketia added that with or without the approval of the EC, its agents must record the serial numbers of the kits.
We wish to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, that NDC registration agents across the country will resist the EC's clandestine attempts aimed at diminishing transparency in the voter registration exercise. Let me emphasize that our agents must activate the party's high-tech application systems to transmit all serial numbers of BVR kits in their district and electoral areas to the National Elections and IT Directorate of the party, with or without the approval of the Electoral Commission.
All right, so that was a report on the happenings. The NDC, they're making some requests of the EC. The EC has since said they are unable to provide those serial numbers to them, and they issued a statement in that respect, citing potential security compromises and all of that. So we'll delve into all of those this morning. To help us with the discussion, the Honorable Edwin Nilante Vanderpoel, Member of Parliament for Odo-Odo, former Sports Minister, former Deputy Local Government Minister. He's been at this game for a while. The Honorable Ebenezer Nate is a former Member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central constituency. Franklin Kujo, President of Imani Africa. Dr. Osai Kwapon is a political scientist and a CDD research fellow. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me start off with Honorable MP Vanderpoel, Nilante Vanderpoel. You've been monitoring the process, obviously, in your constituency. What can you say about it? Of course, the first day we know there were issues. The EC said that on that same day, by midday, those challenges were resolved. What can you tell us about the exercise in your constituency as you observe, as you've been observing it?
Well, thank you very much, Solomon. Let me say good morning to all our viewers and our listeners, and to my very good brother Eben, and to everybody. Let me take the opportunity first to say a big thank you to Citi FM and Citi TV for the comprehensive work you did yesterday on the SMP School project, and I'm so happy, I'm grateful that you've also added your voice to the call I've made several years now, and the efforts I've made which had fell on deaf ears. Let me also take the opportunity to wish my daughter, my third born, Martha, now the Akufo-Addo, a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Together with my senior brother. They all celebrated their birthday the same day yesterday.
Oh, nice one.
Salam, you know, the Electoral Commission is supposed to be the most, let me say, respected institution as far as our governance system is concerned. We can have problems with the executive, have problems with the legislature, and have problems with the judiciary. But with the Electoral Commission, the sanctity of their work and the fact that they are the nerve of our democracy should make them a very respected institution, an institution of reverence. Unfortunately, I cannot say that about this Electoral Commission. World over, Electoral Commissions are respected, highly respected, because You see, what comes out of an election could keep a country together or tear the country apart. And we've seen that in so many countries, and history is replete with those incidents. Let me take, for example, recently in the US, even though Trump was the president, there was nothing he could do because we have a robust, transparent, and very fair electoral system. In spite of his reservations, in spite of the general seat route and things, still he could not do anything about it. In Ghana, we've celebrated the times of Dr. Kojo Farijan. We saw what happened under Charlotte Osei. People had reservations, people were not too happy, but we trusted in the system, and the system delivered. We had a peaceful elections. Those who were not happy went to court, but at the end of it all, there was a smooth transition. This electoral commission, apart from being seen as...
No, I'm not sure Charlotte Osei had election petition. Afrajan had election petition. That's how come he was in the box. And Jane Mensah had election petition.
NDC was not happy with the results of the elections in 2016.
But we didn't go to court.
Yes, but I'm saying that in spite of our reservations. So, with this particular electoral commission, how come that their tenure is smeared with so many controversies? And they don't seem to realize that these controversies is taking something away from the respect and integrity that they have.
Well, when you say controversies, what do you mean? The EC has always been the subject of debate or disagreement, depending on who you are or where you stand.
I agree.
Along that. So Afrajan suffered it, Charlotte Osei suffered it, and Jane Mensah is suffering it. No, so it appears it's become the norm with the EC.
The resolution of the problems under Farijan did not create animosity between the Electoral Commission and the parties. It is the same thing under Charlotte Osei. You understand? Even though the MPP had problems with Charlotte Osei, but she delivered and they themselves clapped for her. You understand? But because of their ulterior motive, they still had her removed. Everybody talked about Jane Mensah when she was appointed because of her relationship with a very, let me say, high-ranking government. I won't say government official, but once she's a first lady,
she has a relationship with
the first lady. Apart from that, we know the background of somebody like Bosman Asari.
But before that, on Jane Mensah, we also knew her at the IEA. She delivered and did a fantastic.
The IEA is different. The IEA
by the same person who was managing or running that organization.
Managing an institution like IEA cannot be compared with the electoral.
But she showed some track record, and based on that track record,
non-governmental institution focused on the issue of economy and to some extent governance.
Yes, and so they organize the debates and all of that.
Because they are not a public office, not too many interests or not too much interest will be vested into their activities and what they do because they are on their own. They are a non-governmental organization. But when you are occupying a public office and the taxpayers' money is being used to pay you, and you're supposed to deliver on the subject of unity, confidence, and integrity in a transparent, fair manner, the lenses that is used to judge you and to look at you is different from when you are managing a private, non-governmental organization. You are not under the scrutiny of anybody. So that should make the people who occupy the position at EC to know that, like the football referee, in the center of a game, no matter the team you were supporting before you became a referee, as soon as you assume the badge, your understanding and perspectives of the game differs. That is what this particular EC have not been able to do. So they like from day one, it's like singing the master's voice. These are the people who have appointed us. These are the people who have put us there. They put us there for a purpose, and let's make sure we achieve that purpose.
But that they will say will not be fair to them, because they have the law. They have their own. They have the CI. They have the Constitution. Large portions of the Constitution devoted to the work they do. So they argue that what they are doing is in line with law. And of course, it wouldn't be difficult listening to NDC trying to work for them, listening to MPP trying to work for them. So what is important is stay on the law, ensure that they deliver on the law, so that they are on the right side of the law.
Are they sure they've been on the law?
That's what they say.
I am not a lawyer, but at least I've learned some law.
No, that's what they say.
I'm happy you say that's what they say. Every Ghanaian, almost all of us in this country, will not mark this CEC even 30%.
Really?
On their delivery.
But they are using the law. They're not flouting
the law, using the airline, using almost all the regulations and the laws that guard their activities. Let me take for example. This registration exercise, which is our focus. Right from day one, the EC tried to entrench the issue of the usage of national ID cards alone, against the vehemence of the minority in parliament. They couldn't go through because they couldn't then get their CI through. But for that is what they wanted to do. Against the rationalization from almost all Ghanaians that is not possible and that cannot work.
If you say all Ghanaians, the MPP really wasn't against that. The MPP was for it.
If it is in their
and that's a huge part of the population.
In this particular instance, they are playing to their tune. So why would they be? They
talk about issues of nationality. Ghanaians should be those who are on the electoral roll. The guarantor system, we can't really trust it, though we've been using it in the past. The national ID card, is generally trusted. So they feel that using the national ID card will cut out or cut off all those persons who are not Ghanaians and so not eligible, from getting onto our roll. That was the intention.
The issue is that
because the law says that it's Ghanaians who must be registered.
The issue is that everybody know who a Ghanaian is. I don't think you sitting here will willingly go and guarantee for somebody is not a Ghanaian because you know the law.
Yes, so I'm a law-abiding citizen. Somebody with a bad motive will do it.
So the person faces the law.
Yeah, but how will you know? So there should be a way of stopping those people.
That is why we have agents. That is why we have agents at the registration centers. That if you bring somebody who is not a Ghanaian and coming to guarantee for the person, I have the right to challenge. When I challenge, the person will be appealed before the tribunal. If the person is not able to prove his citizenship at the tribunal, he faces the law. And you who guaranteed for the person also face the music. So the system have inherent mechanisms to check those things.
I see.
So they cannot use that law to be able to circumvent the mechanism that all of us will appreciate in order to advance their cause. That's what they're doing. They want to do things to suit themselves. But you are supposed to be a referee so that look at the interests of all the parties in the play and then take the decision that you have. Today, some of the problems we are having with this registration exercise is the issue of busing.
We'll come to busing.
No, the reason why I'm saying is that it's because of the adamance of the EC. If the EC had accepted the proposals that were given from day one, that looking at our terrain, it's not possible. It's
not possible to centralize the registration.
That's the issue. Simple. Let me take Eben's constituency, not mine. Eben's constituency. And you have the district office at Tankastle line, Ama line. You expect somebody to walk all the way from the end of the Sakaman, your constituency, Sakaman, the junction, the barrier, the Dansuman Junction, to Tankastle line, to come and register. For what? Why would the person do it?
Well, the person is a good citizen, civic responsibility.
Who is going to provide the person with the transport if the person cannot walk? You understand? So you look at the system, because if you put me at the helm of an institution and I'm supposed to manage people, I look at the things that I would do that will make it easier for the people to patronize the activity that I'm supposed to deliver.
Very well.
So the EC must take account of itself. Look, this is the only EC who has presided over an election where 8 people died. 8 people died.
That's a criminal matter. The EC, I'm not sure.
What are the EC is responsible for the elections?
No, but if there's an election ongoing,
they are responsible for the election security.
They go and misbehave somewhere. They face the music. So that's why they are reported to the police, and the police will take it up from there.
And what has happened?
Well, so that's in the province of the police.
You see, the issue is that election security is the EC's mandate.
Not the police.
Not the police.
Not
EC
the
is the one who invites the police to provide security. So if the EC invited police and they invited the army, they should give the perspective and the room in which they're supposed to perform their work. You understand? So if anything happened, you, the one who invited them, take ultimate responsibility.
I see.
The bus stops with you.
Very well. Let me take your brother's views. Are you guys neighbors in constituency?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, Eben, once again, welcome. I guess you've been following the process in your constituency and other places.
Retired.
But you are in active service for the next 7 years. You go with Akufo-Addo. So you've been following the process in your constituency and perhaps other places as well. What can you tell us about the process? The first few days, not very good. What can you tell us?
Okay, let me say good morning to our viewers and good morning to my senior brother and yourself and our viewers and then our colleagues joining us on Zoom as well. Yes, Honorable Nlante can bear witness that registration exercise, let me say, election is a there's an election and we start registration exercise. They are difficult. Parties have interest. If your people register, by the national office to assist. I had the opportunity to visit I later their coding system that could not even have people the opportunity to register. In some cases, there are some centers that their machines that they are working with is not working. So eventually, the first day was bad. I also heard my brother and friend, who is a deputy, I think he's a chief whip, the minority chief, Abuja, complaining that even his constituency, they have only 10 people registering the first day. And from the results that I also had from Greater Accra, from our end, we realized that there are a lot of constituencies that have less than 20, less than 30 people registering. But the EC quickly came out to complain, not complain, but came out to explain the reasons why there were these challenges. And they promised us that the second and the third and the fourth day, there will be an improvement. The second and the third day, we have a little bit of challenges. But the third day and yesterday, for instance, I was at my end, my constituency. I can say facts that at the time I got there, about 60 people, around 11, about 60 people have already registered, compared to the previous time where you get there, whereby about 5 or 6 people, and see the agitation from even the children. Yesterday, for instance, I had an encounter, and just as Honorable Nlante said, about the distance and the complaint. Some of them told me that, look, Honorable, we are coming from, we got here around 4 o'clock
a.m.
Because he wants to get his card. And the distance is at which the person is coming from. He felt that, no, it is not right, because how can I come and sit there from 4 o'clock and I got there around 11 something and that's not even gotten to his 10, meaning that there was a backlog a day before. So the EC, I'm told, that normally give numbers to those that were not able to register a day before. So when you come even that morning and you come, they have to finish with the old people. So why should I come and sit at 4 a.m. and wait till somebody who yesterday, a day before he came, but because he couldn't register, will sleep and then come at the time at his own convenience, once I have come to sit there? And those are the things that I think that it is not right. But for me, I think it is high time that these two of the NDs and the MP will allow the Electoral Commission to its work. I say things just as it is. And sometimes I have my own people, sometimes even have issues with me. But that is the fact. The fact is that when we allow institutions to work, we don't interfere in the work of the institutions. I mean, they operate and operate well. That's why for me, I've been saying that, look, if I get the opportunity to be the president of this country, one of the things that I will change in our constitution is the appointment of heads of security agencies that we have in this country. No matter what it is, no matter who you are, no matter how strong you are, let me tell you, today, this is the IGP, Dampari. You think he will not listen to what Akufo-Addo will tell him?
He would?
Who put you here?
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it matters.
No, somebody must put you there. Anyway.
That is why I'm saying that if opportunity are not given to certain institutions, or some powers are not taken from the executives, things can right. And one thing that President Akufo-Addo was trying to do, which I was so happy about, even is an appointment of MNDCs. People today agitate. Yesterday I was having some talk with the NDC executives in my constituency, and I was telling one of them, they are youth organizer who happens to be a very good friend. I said, I know you are eyeing to become MC. NDC will not it is not possible. You can imagine the number of people be eyeing for SC's position. At the end of the day, of people and asking for removal of MNDC. But today, nobody can ask. They can do thousands of registration that we don't want in Lantevanafo as an MP, but they will wait till on the 7th of January 2025 because he's being elected. You give all the noise. I don't want my MP. He's not performing. He's not doing this. But you don't have that power.
So the point you are making is EC boss should be elected?
For me, I think that in some of the institutions, the person have to rise through the mill. To be honest with you.
So like EC, the person has to come through the system.
He has to come through the system, and becomes the EC's boss. And as I rightly said, the challenges that the EC is facing today, it has happened from Afarijan's time. Afarijan's time, yes, some of us were wrong, but not much into this. As his second term, before he would exit, and then Salvatore Osset came in, all the political parties complained. At that time, we complained on certain issues like voters register, bloating. We complained during Afarijan time in '96. We complained about this opaque ballots that is to be transparent, and these are legitimate issues that we raise.
And they were taken on board.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These issues are very legitimate because you cannot put a box on that you don't know what is in the box. Then at the end of the day, and at that time, I know how vibrant Dilante used to be at that time. Even though he was not active.
He was a youth organizer, right? Were you
I was a what secretary?
Okay, what secretary?
Even though at that time he was even working at GBC.
Yes.
The last time I was just telling some people that when we talk about people in Greater Accra, then these people, the mafia people, you cannot mention Nilante and mention any other person.
So mafia in a complimentary sense, or mafia in the way we know it?
No, not the way you know it.
Mafia in a complimentary sense.
Exactly. If he will tell you, but I have been doing it.
Okay, I see.
You understand? So there are certain people you don't even joke with them. I had somebody, I don't want to mention the person's name for me, is concerned we're conversing. Say, what? You drive me.
Because it's a sports guy, so
because he was expecting something from him, but when he also think that, look, for the sake of the party, this is where I think that it will be better.
Yeah.
You understand? So after electoral commission, we all have issues, but the point of the matter is that how do we get to a solution whereby NDC, MPP will never complain about the electoral commission?
So let's see this. So for example, the insistence of the EC to conduct this registration just in the district offices. He gave the example using your constituency.
Yeah.
Is it an efficient way of managing the process? People traveling from very far places to the center, when this could have been decentralized in the district, maybe on electoral area basis, as it's been done in the past. So the insistence, people coming there at 4 a.m., necessary.
But I heard Sri Bokuku saying since 96 or some, is it 2000, they always do limited registration at the district office. But I always also believe that there's always a first time. Yes, I agree perfectly with Honorable Nilante.
We saw it because we saw what they did last year in preparation for the district assembly.
That one was done at the district office.
Yes, but there were issues. We thought the EC was going to learn from this.
So that's why I'm saying that when we talk about registration exercise at the district office, it's an inconvenience to the EC itself and also to the parties. Look, even from what Nate is saying for my constituency, it may be a work, somebody can walk to the place. But in some cases,
you cannot walk.
You cannot walk. Yeah. To be honest with you, even the example that you said, the boundary that we share with Ablukman, and let me use even Ablukman North. Ablukman North district, Ablukman office is at how do you call it? Bintu Banyard, and Ablukman North starts from
Sakama.
How do you call it? Dansoma Junction.
Dansoma Junction.
Straight to Sakaman. Then you come to Malam. They share boundary with Malam. Look at the distance. When you use a place like English Amanfro, they are, look at where their constituency or their district offices, and somebody have to take a car from Galilee.
Yes.
And Obom, they share boundary with Obom.
Do you know where Obom is?
No.
Obom is around Kaswa. They share boundary with Kaswa.
Yes.
Bogiasi area. Wow. So look at the distance.
So this is my problem.
So I agree perfectly with him that.
So it appears both of you are agreed on this. So I'm sure IPAC, if it's an MPP, who are the heavyweights, put their resources together and say, no, easy. We are the people on the ground. This in your district office won't work. So let me give you an example. Yesterday I was on there. Somebody sent me a text message. It's called Prince Henry from Kufurija. He says, note, transportation from, he said, why do you expect my cousin to move from Enumboso with 2 guarantors to Akosombo? And for the 2 days, the registration was all successful. For 2 days, the registration was all successful. So he said, note, transportation from Enumboso to Akosombo, the district capital is Sujaman, is 120 cedis in and out. Now let's do the maths. 3 people multiplied by 120 times 2 days, because they go come. Very sad, you know. And who pays for this? So what's the person's interest really in wanting to go through all of this, expend close to 1,000 cities just to get registered for what?
I heard our director of elections, Evans Nemakun, also complaining about the EC doing the registration at district office, because
actually we didn't see the MPP complain. NDC raised the issues.
Evans, I've heard Evans that even at the IPAC meeting, they all raised concern about the district.
Yes. So that's the IPAC.
Yes.
NDC came out to say that's how come.
If you go to IPAC meeting, but the issue and the issue is being raised at IPAC meeting, and we have expressed our views, and the EC decided not to. So when you come on air and come and talk,
but there's pressure. There's pressure. So for example, EC insisted on going with the national ID card.
Yeah.
You could have said it at IPAC, would have ended, the EC would still take it. But because there was public pressure, Parliament couldn't do what they had to do to make sure.
And for the first time, we had a consensus. For the first time, we had a consensus.
So public pressure is important. We are those to do the registration. And if we cannot, why should I wake up in the morning when in this economic
maybe situation? The pressure that the public also mounted on the EC on the district level is not enough.
No, but you see, the people listen to the political parties, NDC, MPP especially. NDC was fueling its people from one side. But the MPP said, okay, we have raised it in IPAC, so it's okay.
No, but we have raised the thing at IPAC. The person have made up his mind that this is what we wanted to do.
Yeah, but there's public pressure.
Coming out to complain about it.
But you had let my vote count.
Yes.
You had raised all those issues. Let my vote count was raising.
Yes.
At IPAC.
Yes.
It wasn't, those issues were not taken.
Yes.
You went on the street.
Yes.
When you went on the street, that's public pressure.
Yes.
Some of those things, I'm sure, got in the system.
So there's a new voter already.
So you could have done a similar thing. So the point about raising it at IPAC alone, couldn't have solved it. Like the example of the.
I agree with you that we could have also put more pressure on the.
So now here we are, people spending close to 1,000 just to get a voter's ID card for what?
You see the issue.
Let me speak to Doc. He's been waiting for Honorable. I'll come back to you. Doc Kwapong, Dr. Sarah is a political scientist and CDD research fellow. Welcome to the program. I know you've been monitoring the process from afar. What's your initial impression about how the process has been so far?
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to the honorables as well. I think overall so far so good. I know that on the first day and even I think day 2, day 3, there were a number of issues, challenges that came up with the registration process. The connectivity issue, all of those things. I from some of the statements that I read from the EC in response, they immediately tried to at least address some of those issues and some of those challenges. I still think that, given the fact that voting is a very fundamental right, that whatever administrative processes that you set up, you want to make sure that it doesn't place too much of an undue burden on the voter in terms of what he or she is trying to do in order to be able to exercise that fundamental right come December, which is why I would have, preferred that it's already been mentioned that the registration centers could be a little more decentralized, so that people don't have to travel, like long distances, to be able to register to participate in the election. But having said that, for me, the key issue that I'm finding worrying, though, is what I feel is a deepening mistrust between Ghana's main opposition political party and the Electoral Commission. Over the years, as I observe, Ghana politics, our political parties seem to have this impression that win or lose is also a reflection of what the EC does or does not do. It is also further complicated by what I believe to be a sharpening partisan edges, on how we look at institutions, how we look at the issues, etc., etc. I was very happy when the NDC returned, to IPAC, because then I saw it as, a thawing of, that sort of frosty relationship that had emerged, and said, well, they are back at IPAC, so then now there's at least a platform that they will participate in to, build consensus in conjunction with the other political parties and address some of the issues that would come up, as we prepare for 2024. But it looks like the tension or that mistrust is sort of coming back to the table and it's deepening. And for me, that's, as I observe the registration exercise and the rhetoric around it and the rhetoric around 2024, that for me is my biggest worry, now. That at the end of the day, you want to find ways of making sure that, there is not that, suspicion that the referee of the game is out, to favor one party over the other, or is out to disadvantage, one party. And I'm hoping that between now and December, the actions and the inactions of the EC would reassure not even just our political parties, but also would reassure the citizens that they are independent, impartial, fair arbiter of this election. I've been saying over and over again that one of the key challenges that the EC as an institution faces is the issue of trust. If you look at our most recent Afrobarometer from 2022, only 10% of respondents expressed a lot of trust in the EC. So they have that cloud already hanging, over them, which means that all of the steps that they take in preparing us for 2024 has to be guided by ensuring that, they rebuild and reclaim some of that lost trust. But that, for me, is my biggest worry as I observe the registration exercise and as we prepare for 2024.
I'm wondering what the balance should be or where the line should be drawn. The EC, by the Constitution, is an independent body and not subject to the control of anybody or any authority. Now, the EC has set its own, has a number of things it wants to do, and that is what they feel that will make them independent, so they are going ahead with it. Now, Party A says this. Should they begin to be flexible towards that party. Party B comes, they will want to be in the middle and insist on what they think is right, what they have thought is right to do, and so they will do it. That comes across as being unnecessarily obstinate or stubborn, not being pliable. And so now people say EC is arrogant, EC doesn't want to listen to anybody, EC is going its own route, and that is not helpful. So help us draw the line between the balance of independence and the balance of also being open to suggestions.
Very good question. And if you listen to Dr. Farejan's Constitutional Day address a couple of months ago, that's one of the things that he pointed out, and the importance of a platform like IPAC, right? He talked about, look, you have this platform where on the one hand, you can use it to build consensus and allow the political parties to give input to matters of how we conduct, our election and ensuring its transparency and its integrity. But at the same time, there are times too where the political parties may bring up or raise an issue that may not be in the best interest, of the electoral process, as seen by the EC, which is the institution constitutionally charged with overseeing that. So there are moments where the EC is right in asserting its independence and saying, I've listened to you, I've heard you, but as an institution, this is the best way we see it in terms of how we proceed. So for me, it's the administrative processes that the EC as an institution builds into these things that, for me, should give assurance, right? So, for example, if you look at its response to the issues or some of the questions being raised by the NDC, as I was reading the response, I said to myself, well, I personally find that, okay, they've built in these administrative processes. They talked about, the registration centers are gazetted. You have polling agents oversight. There's detailed reporting of the numbers on a daily basis. You would get a provisional register. You'd get a final register. There's opportunities for correction, the district registration review committee, etc., etc. So for me, all of those things are good administrative processes that should enable the key players, in the electoral process to feel assured that nothing untoward would happen and no one would be disadvantaged. So that's how you balance the independence of the EC with the demands of the political parties, because they also want to ensure that the rules, the processes do not disadvantage them. They want everybody to be treated fairly. And it's not a one-time resolution thing. It's, for me, a continuous tension that, every so often you have to find ways to resolve that. Sometimes some of their concerns are legitimate. And you have to address those legitimate concerns. And sometimes you have to provide some of these other, mitigating processes to reassure folks that you have nothing to worry about.
Great.
But it still boils down to trust.
Very well. Thanks so much, Doc. So Dr. Seb Kwapong is a political scientist and a CDD research fellow. This is a big issue on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll delve into other matters, including the registration of minors, busing of people to the centers, and all of that we have seen in the first week of the registration exercise. Don't go away, we'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is a big issue on 97.3 Citi FM and on Citi TV as well. We are live on our socials, Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and Citi TV. This morning, there are two issues we are looking at. The EC's limited voter registration exercise began on Tuesday, fraught with quite a number of technical challenges. The EC says that those challenges have now been resolved, but there are other issues on the human side that have also come up, and that's what we are also dealing with. Number two, we'll look at the matter of some raw politics. Nana Akufo-Addo saying that people should not vote for his predecessor, John Mahama, to take over from him because he would destroy his legacy. John Mahama hits back and says, what legacy? He will not protect his legacy of corruption, misgovernance, and all of that. It's become it has become a major talking point in the political arena. We will have our bite on all of that with my guest. My guest this morning, the Honorable Nilante Vanderpoel, Member of Parliament for the Dodio, Ebenezer Nate, Honorable, former MP for Ablekuma Central, Dr. Osei Kwapon, CDD Research Fellow and a Political Scientist, Franklin Kujo, who will join us on this segment from Imani, Africa. Gentlemen, so that's what we have. Now, let me come to you, the Honorable Nilante Vanderpoel. There have been issues, really, about the process like we just discussed in the last round. It does appear that these problems still persist a bit. But there's also been the challenge of busing. We know that busing people from one place to the other to go and register is frowned upon by the law and all we do. It does appear that the NDC and MPP are still engaged in this particular process. Why can't you stop busing people and allow people just to go and register and later vote on their own? Why is busing so important, even though the EC frowns against that or frowns on that?
It's still on the intransigence of the EC. The intransigence of the EC, the stubbornness of the EC. If the EC had listened to, let me say, patriotic voices, national concern about the need to decentralize, as Kwapon said. Because you see, we're talking about Ablekuma. You mentioned Esojaman. If you go to constituency like Afram Plains, people have to cross the river. You understand? You go to Bole, Bamboy, the remotest part of the constituency is 100 kilometers away from the district capital. Yes.
100 kilometers?
100 kilometers from the district capital. You go to a constituency like Yeji, the same. You go to Pandai. There are certain, it looks like the EC do not really know the country they are working for. So they don't understand the terrain.
But they have officers in all the districts.
But the officers only take instructions.
And the officers give
You think reports. The EC officer, the way Jane Mensah behaves, you think she will listen to her officers if she will not even listen to the NDC and MPP?
No, but her officers she works
from what Eben is saying, she don't even listen to them. When they supported the NDC on the issue of decentralization.
That's good, and it means she's doing her work fairly.
Exactly. You see, let me say this. Independence and autonomy is not intransigence. Independence and autonomy does not negate. You don't mortgage your independence and autonomy by building consensus and being transparent. You see, Kwapon emphasized on the issue of mistrust. Salam, even in our marriages, what kills mistrust? Communication, transparency, consensus building. If you continue to do things at the blunt side of your partner, mistrust will continue to fester. You understand? So if the EC is conscious of the level of mistrust in the major stakeholders in their activities, what they do is to pan a little bit towards them, build consensus, open up to them. Let's look at this issue, and I'm happy over the week it came up. Look, when we have a situation where a major stakeholder in the political landscape has complained about the mode of appointments to the EC. You understand? It has never happened in this country. But we are all today, you and I all.
But when Charlotte Osei was appointed, the MPP complained in some circles that they didn't think she was the right person. In fact, some even went to court for other reasons.
Are they at any point? At any point, talk about she being an NDC activist?
Some people said so. There were times some posters came about. Of course, those were propaganda posters.
Thank you. But so you agree?
Yeah. But the point is that discussions around her political affiliation did come up.
But nobody could hold anything against her because there is no direct relationship with the NDC. You understand? They presume, they were assuming, they were, suspecting, but they did not really. But this is a situation where we have somebody who, in 2020, was an NPP polling agent at the coalition center, who was paying, Tescom patron. This is somebody who we know is related, another person who is related to as appointee of the government. So when you put them there, with all this myth around you, the best thing you can do is to be able to open up in such a manner that the person can say that even though I didn't have confidence in Eben, the way Eben has related to me has made me, let me say, change my perceptions about Eben. That's the only way we relate. You understand? If Eben has a mistrust about me, it's the relationship I create with Eben that will make Eben change his mind or perceptions about me. But if Eben continues to keep a frosty relationship between him and me, I will continue to live in that perception I have about him. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. The EC has not done anything to repair that level of mistrust of Ghanaians in its activities. How can you get up and dispose of BVRs without letting Ghanaians know what you are doing? But for Imani, they wouldn't have come out to tell anyone what they have done. Those equipment, Salam, contains you and I, our personal data. What capacity under our rules, under our regulations on cyber security does the EC have to dispose of those materials without telling me who is taking it, who is having it in the next few days? What is that person going to do with my data? It is a serious issue. It's not something that we should joke with. That the EC can get up.
How about if the EC says that they wiped it clean before disposing of?
How do I believe him? How do I believe them? You didn't involve me in the decision taking for me to know this is what you are going to do before disposing of the machine. This laptop you have, if you decided to dispose of it, and we boldly own it, and you don't tell me, and then you come and tell me the next time that, oh, I cleaned everything before disposing of it, will I believe you? Why should I believe you in the first place?
But what was the concern? What was the fear of the NDC, given if even data was on it? What would they do with it for their data protection issues and all of that? But in respect of elections, what can they do with that?
Everything can be done. We are living in a society. We are living in a society where crime and people who are always doing this, getting involved in this cyber crime, are always going ahead of even the regulations and the laws we have to protect ourselves. You and I sat in the class and did some little work on cyber security, and you know what it is like. So the truth of the matter is that the world has gotten to a stage whereby you cannot dispose of such materials just like the way you dispose of waste. You understand? You must use the appropriate mechanisms to make sure. And a situation whereby those materials are not the EC's property. When EC was going to acquire them, they came to Parliament to seek our approval, the approval of the Ghanaian people before they acquired them. So if they are disposing of them, why wouldn't they go back to the Ghanaian people and tell the Ghanaian people this is what we are going to do? We don't say come back to Parliament, but at least let the EC inform all the players within the system, because that data also belongs to the NDC, belong to the MPP, belong to the CPP, belong to all the political parties. So that material that the EC was disposing of, the EC should at least have the courtesy and the respect and the dignity to at least inform these players that this is what we intend doing.
Very well.
Then all of us will be sure. What about the data on it? They say, I've wiped it. Okay, let's certify you've wiped it. Fine. Then we know that our data is not going to wrong hands. It is something that EC must learn to do. That they have not been transparent, they have not been open, they've not built consensus on issues. And once they continue to take that entrenched position that we are independent, they will always have problem building trust in the Ghanaian people.
Very well. Of course, Franklin Kujo is on. I'll come to you, Franklin, in a minute. Eben, the issue about busing and the issue Neilante just raised, which is one of the things we'll talk about the BVR, how they dispose it of, etc. What would be your take on it? I mean, the MPP's take on it generally. Is the MPP happy with the way the EC disposed of these devices? And give me your take also on the issue about busing, the way you political parties bus people from one place to the other.
On the issue of busing, I think we have spoken about it already. It's because of the distance. It's not that somebody. Yes, there are some people that will try to go to. For instance, I can use my constituency as an example. We share boundary with Odododio.
You're going to bring Odododio people?
Exactly.
Who are in support of...
No, we don't do that.
No,
they bring people from Insam and all the places to Odododio.
I see.
I will go to Odododio
and bring your supporters. People who like
and you see...
No, he can only take his family members for Odododio.
No, but if there are boys there, girls, people who like him.
If I'm taking his family, he has a family.
If I'm taking my family members, including you. But you also a family member. You see, so the busing, it can be in two legs. One, looking at the distance from where the people are, maybe around Ansonic area. All of you should come and meet us at maybe Guinness Sports. Let's convene you to the registration center. The another leg also is you moved from one constituency to another constituency to bus people from that place come and register in your constituency. And it's because of maybe the margin in the various constituencies. And I always use Honorable Lante's constituency as an example. The way and manner we share boundary, unless you know the boundaries very well, it will be difficult for you to know that this is Ablukuma Central and this is Odododio.
Yeah.
So people will just let people enter
that constituency.
Tima Market, then they will just cross the bridge, get to Agbogboshi, then enter how do you call it, Ablukuma Central, and then when he comes, oh, I'm just coming from the Central Mosque area, which forms part of Ablukuma Central constituency. Bring the people to the center to come and register, because believing that, oh, in Ablukuma Central we won the seat with 204 votes from the MPP. So when you're able to get 2,000 from Nilante, with Nilante won with almost about 10,000 plus. That Nilante give us 2,000 out of your 10,000, which is possible. And then, oh, don't worry.
Hey, I'm happy you are giving your strategy out.
No, I'm just telling you
the NPP strategy.
No, that's the NDC strategy. You
know. How does it be our strategy?
You don't know his strategy better than me.
That's NPP strategy.
So that's the major problem.
I wish my people are listening.
And that's what creates the problem. Because
that is what Ewuzi is doing in Cape Coast North.
I don't know about Ewuzi. I'm just telling you what I am hearing people are saying. Because I heard somebody saying that
from Sekendi. You know, that's where his base is. And now he's bringing them to Cape Coast North because he's now contesting in Cape Coast North.
I see. Go ahead. Eben, go ahead.
I see.
But we don't know that. I mean,
Nilante know very well that his people are busing from his constituency to my constituency. He knows that.
Oh, how? How can we bus?
He knows.
How can we bus? You yourself are saying it's a walking distance.
Because
so how can we bus?
Because he knows that the margin at my place and the margin at his end is very big. He has almost about 15 to 20,000 difference. So if I give you 2,000, I've not done anything.
I see. So go ahead.
But you are preventing them.
Unfortunately, we've not averted our mind to it. I'm happy you are saying it. That's your strategy. So maybe we have to adopt it.
No, but it's wrong.
You know this.
Once it's wrong, you don't have to adopt it.
No, but he's telling me.
So we have to prevent whoever is doing it.
So that's the busing.
So Eben, you and I agree. So you know what will solve this? If the registration were at electoral areas,
then people know people.
It will resolve this. It will resolve this.
That's what I said from the beginning. It's because of the distance.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the distance,
or the distance makes it easier.
Exactly. Yes. Because all the political parties, for instance, if it happens that the people that I said they should meet at Dansoma Junction, there's an electoral area, that's a jumbo electoral area.
They have to do it. There will be no
point. There's no point of going to the district office at Latebia Okoshi. Because the person has to take a car from Dansoma Junction to Kaneshi, then from Kaneshi to Paipena to go and register. But in this case, it's a walking distance from wherever the person is at the electoral area to JT Cluster House. So that's where they normally do the electoral area one. The person can just go and register. Latebia Okoshi is just close to the district office. They go to the district office. So that's where the problems are when it comes to the bus. On the VVI machine, I've listened to Shibokoku over the weekend, during the week, and he raised an issue of I think last week Saturday I listened to him and that of Imani deputy The vice president.
Bryce Simmons. Is it Bryce Simmons?
No, that's that person. Apart from Franklin.
Kofi Bento?
Kofi Bento.
Okay.
And on one of the star stations, and they were talking about this issue of the machine that EC have disposed it of. In fact, he said before disposing the machines off, they had already informed, and they have even published it in the papers.
Which paper?
I don't know. They published it in the papers. In fact, they even wrote to the Ministry of Finance that we have this number of machines that we need to dispose of. And Finance gave them the go-ahead. After Finance giving them the go-ahead, then they published it in the papers as to we have this number of laptops that we want to dispose of. So anybody who is interested can come for it. And he mentioned one company, I think at Medina or East Lake or whatever, they won the contract. So he was asked, so what about the information that is in the machine? And he said, look, right after the election or registration, all informations, because it's a phone. They have the chip in the machine that takes all the data. And they took all these things before disposing the, how do you call it, the machines to the company that won the contract. And there's nothing wrong with, how do you call it, because we do auction. Institutions do auctions. If they realize that, oh, we have cars, we have this. In fact, to an extent, even tables and chairs are even auctioned. So for me, I don't see anything wrong with the auctioning machines. Yes, on the VVD, how do you call it, data serial numbers that the NDC is talking about. I listened to the General Secretary, the National Chairman of the NDC, saying that it will not be a business as usual. They want, and they have asked their people to take, how do you call it, the serial numbers of the machines. And I asked myself, for what? So that when you finish, is there a machine working somewhere in the interest of another person that you are going to screen, check all the, how do you call it, what is the name?
But for example, now that machines are DVDs, we don't know where they are. If we know all the machines involved in the registration, and maybe later some names are in the system but are unknown to these serial numbers, then they can raise.
No,
it means that these are.
In fact, the machine that they disposed, they said in 2012 machine is different from this one.
So yes, so no problem.
If it's
different,
machines,
to show in the serial numbers that you will provide, the EC will provide them, so that they will take time to go through. Okay, this serial number has 50 people. These are the names.
Which people will take time to go through?
NDC.
NDC.
They don't have time.
Oh. But NDC went to call without anything.
No, they don't have time. They don't have time.
For NDC, when it comes to computer matters,
don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, they said that's why they said they will not take things like normal.
No. You yourself talk about a different party, but not NDC when it comes to data issues.
You just quoted the chairman.
Have you not forgotten the same Asidi Kutia who told that when the general secretary that if we do a new biometric voter register, people will be getting cancers and all those things. And today the same person is asking for data.
I didn't hear him say that.
NDC when it comes to data.
Some people will get cancer.
When it comes to IT issues, don't be.
But you just said the man said they will not take. It will not be business as usual. So it will not be business as usual.
It's just a matter of him saying it. But as for NDC, our pen and paper.
When he says other things, true. But when he speaks about computer, not true.
Because I know the kind of people they are. That they are not abreast with the current situation that we find ourselves.
They are BBC, born before computer.
They just want pen and paper.
I'm surprised about my brother.
Let me talk to Frank.
When they went to court, didn't you see Asili using the old...
That's what they gave you. The Macron calculator. They gave it. He didn't bring it from home.
Who gave it to him?
I think they gave it to him at the court. He didn't bring it from home. All right, Frank,
let me give him a proverb issue that we are all Ghanaians here. Okay. And listeners and viewers, forgive me. I'm going to give a proverb in Ghana.
And you explain it.
The Ghanaians say that Bulu dolo anano shame.
Which means what? All right. Frankly, I don't know if you understood that proverb, but I mean, Imani, you guys have been on the EC's case in respect of these BVRs or BVDs missing and satisfied with some of the responses that the EC has given in respect of even the NDC's request for serial numbers, etc. Where are we in all of this mix?
Good morning to your good self.
And let me add that we miss you.
Oh, well, I've missed you too. Wow, good to see. Good to say that. I should be visiting the studios anytime soon. By the way, so
Dylan
good
wants to
morning, my
understand if you
friend.
understood the proverb he gave for starters.
Say that again. Sorry.
Dylan wants to be sure if you understood his proverb for starters.
Sorry, I didn't even hear
The proverb.
proverb.
Okay,
Sorry.
very well. Once you didn't hear it, it's okay. Just go ahead.
Right. So, wow. You know, I think institutions in this country, public institutions, and I think yesterday, who was it that was saying something to that effect about public sector reforms? It was vintage of Safomafo. You know, he's been everywhere and he's still in there. He's in the, you know, he says we should think outside of the box. I wonder what he was doing in the box all this while. But he made certain important remarks about public sector reforms, which hinges essentially on, or which hinge on the issue of trust, trust in public sector, the public sector, and the services they deliver. You know, I think John will tell you, having worked in the CDD Afrobarometer, that if you look at the level of trust of most of our public institutions, it's just so low. I've forgotten what the easy one is, but it just doesn't evoke any confidence at all. Look, if you're accused of seducing the chief's wife, you don't go to the palace to wriggle your waist, right? Let me share that proverb. You, this EC, from day one, you've been accused of probably your appointment processes was even dodgy, all kinds of things. So the least you could do is to give some confidence to people, not even the parties, if you want, if not the NDC per se, because they've always been criticizing you that your appointment was because you were closer to the party. But consistently, this commission has not actually endeared itself to building stakeholder confidence around very mundane issues. For instance, registration, right? Issues around the type of card, the card we should use, the guarantor system. Look at all these hula baloo about, making sure they want to get a particular CI to enforce a system of using an ID system, even though the IDs were not essentially ready for everybody. So I think that in terms of being pragmatic, the word I was looking for, pragmatic, it's actually missing. You know, I'm tired of actually putting a spotlight on this issue. But just to say that they should be a little bit pragmatic. You know, it is not rocket science to organize elections in this country. I keep saying to myself that I've seen what Afarajan was a master at it really, in terms of building stakeholder what do you call it? Building the consultation with stakeholders. Sometimes he also got it wrong. I recall when he told the MPP, you can go to court. And when he went to court, you saw how he was sweating in the seats. So, yes, but by far, he's been the most pragmatic of all the ECs that we've had. He says recently that these collation centers were just a non-starter. It increased the tension, led to the killing of people. The EC has never even apologized, or our own president has never even seen the signs of apologizing to these persons who died. And every now and then, I don't know whether because they think elections are so pivotal to our survival and its democracy, and so they always want to create some sort of tension. I just don't understand them. What type of tension do you want to create? That registration should happen at district centers. Does it even make sense to you? And when they talk about the cost of elections, another thing they tend to forget, if people are traveling all the way 100 kilometers, 70 kilometers to go and register to vote, it's part of the cost of having an election. Of course, all these individual costs you can't tell, but I'm sure John may be doing some study probably anytime soon to look at the cost of elections pre-election day and even probably and then election itself. The cost to people traveling from places far and wide to just go and to registration centers. And he talks about decentralization. How is difficult is this subject? Eugene, you sat at IE. I worked with you. We were bemoaning the lack of decentralization in our systems. And then you get a nice job like this, and all you do is to become some sort of mother. I don't want to use some decorative word. I'm so pained that just pragmatic, simple stuff that she could have pump some sense into the other commissioners, and then get a befitting EC whose confidence, public confidence would have been probably 70 or 80% by now. She failed abysmally, you know. So I worry that in fact the crisis they create is their own doing, and they bring all this crisis of legitimacy, and it's really, really worrying for me. Look, people thought that we've unfairly targeted the EC, but you know, even before SAP, people think that I'm doing all of this because some people think because they clandestinely, you know, prevented my people from voting, which in itself is a grievous sin. By the way, they've never apologized. By the way, Sribo, Bosmanasari, Jean himself, she's never apologized ever once that we were mistaken. You clandestinely, on the eve of an election, yank my people off the road. For 4 years, we've not seen proper development. In fact, as we speak, if you end Amewu's, how do you call it, gerrymandered, what's it called, constituency hallway, and then you step, just as you leave a particular wood processing plant, and you get towards the lobby, you weep. The roads are like gullies. It's just about a 5-kilometer road. I was even thinking, Amewu, that, well, you are my senior. We all attended St. Mary's. Maybe let's use your powers and let's see how we can help just make that road to St. Mary's where you were trained. But no. And my people have suffered consistently, but they are paying taxes. And you want me to trust this entity that did this to us? And by the way, before the SAL issue, you recall that we had these issues about this biometric verification machines and BVDs that we're saying. Look, our case is simple, and I'm not going to belabor the point again. We started saying in 2020 that it is not possible that machines that were procured in 2016, Charlotte purchased 500 BVR kits. She replaced them, and she was paying $2 million as of 5th May 16th, 2012, and I think October 6, 2012, and December 30th, 2016, she had paid close to 24 million or 22 million Ghana cedis to XTL for the services they granted, the BVR machines that they provided. 2016. Now these are things that are not like your normal phones you use every day, right? You only require them when elections are upon us. 2018, the records are there, and I'm sorry, it's part of the exhibit we've added to the what's it called, shrine. And by the way, these things have been in the public domain up until now. We went to Parliament and asked, let's see the records, and we saw that in 2018 they had purchased 2,000 BVR kits. They call it replaced. These are not projections. Actually, 2,000. And then in 2019, they purchased 1,500 of this. You know how much each one of these things cost? $3,000 US. So we said, if you issue a statement in January 20th, in January 2020, that the machines we had used to do elections 2012, 2016, 2018, because there's a referendum which we did not really see. I think it was stopped along the way. And then 2019, the district level elections. It cannot be true that all the machines you claim were from 2011 had all been kaput or dead or come to the end of life cycle. That's been the Imani argument. People think we are pulling things out of thin air. These people issue statements, and their statements are online. 2011, the machines were procured in 2011, 2012, and they've all come to their end of life cycle. They produce on letters from commercial entities that obviously will be willing to provide new stuff because they are in the business, that all these machines have died. As Neil Ante asks an important question, you are organizing elections are always tense in this country, and for the same machines that you use to organize these elections, you claim you are disposing these machines of. The barest, the minimum threshold you should satisfy is to even call the parties and say, look, guy, these machines, just know today that they've come to their end of life cycle. How do we know? Let's verify. Let's look at it. Let's do this. That's how you engender trust. You should have brought all the parties together and say, so the machines have been, laptop doesn't work, the cameras do not work. In fact, the whole system is kaput, which is even not possible because, you see, like one of the providers of the same systems told us, by the way, told one of our people who asked them questions in January 2020, They said, look, it's not possible that every part of the BVD machines will be, they all, they all die. Let me use a more relative word. They all die off at once. It's not possible. It's like you have a camera, the battery runs down, you can take the battery and replace it, right? But even assuming that everything else the EC is saying is true, that all these machines were procured from 2011 and they've come to the end of life cycle, we say, no, it's not true. Because purchased some in 2019, used it, 2018, used it, Charlotte purchased 2016, and multi-million dollar investments were made. You used them just 3 weeks prior to January 20. You said they were all dead. How do we know they were all dead? And they included the ones that were just recently purchased. That's been our argument from day one. That this EC has engaged in subterfuge, lying, and they never want. You see, have you heard them address this particular issue of BV machines purchased in 2018, 2019? It's not me saying it. On the face of the committee in Parliament that they met, the Finance Ministry data, which we've all shown, and then the Auditor General's report, they have mentioned all these figures there, and they purchased these new machines. So, look, even the 2012, even the 2011 ones that we are talking about, look, you know, like they say something, you use wine in old skins are better than wine in new skins, right? Did you know that, and maybe John could back me up on this, I've just forgotten the figures, but consistently, as we kept using these machines, the error rates kept reducing. In fact, the error rates at elections kept reducing. I think from 2012, it was around 12% or so, came to about 9%. And I think the last election we had, I think the district level election, it was around 3%. You see, it Cibros works against everybody else. Oh, you know, the machines we use, some of them were not giving us problems, just as we are having problems right now with registration. So because of that, we wouldn't even think twice, and we should just throw all these machines away. Is that the logic? So our fight with the EC is based on saving this country money. Don't forget the IMF boss was in town not long ago, and she said, look, your elections cost you too much, and partly the reasons why do you spend close to $200 million on an election? And we said that consistently the EC had invested and made sure that these machines were brought up to steam, including purchasing new ones 2018, 2019, 2016, to the tune of $60 million US, right? That's the figure you see from Parliament and Finance Ministry. You throw away all of this, and then you procure new machines costing 70 million and over, plus another 20 million in software and post whatever equipment sale services. And then you now come and run a new register and run an election. You are topping almost 150 million. And they don't even understand basic arithmetic. If you say you lost money, lost 150 million, we are saying that the 60 million investment that you threw away already, that we had already purchased machines that were in good standing, and then plus the new ones you purchased, which you shouldn't really have been purchasing, you've lost so much money. Why do we have to do these things to ourselves? So that's been the argument. On the issue about the loss of this, what's it called? The loss of data and the way they dispose these things up. Let me say one thing before I get there. Mr. Nati, is it Mati?
Nati.
Nati, yeah. Much of I know me publish, my signable document. I'm sure you see it even online. Come on. Procurement.
We all don't understand the gun. So. We all don't understand the guy.
In Accra, your station is in Accra. John Sai can speak Ghana.
Yes.
Wait, who says I can't speak Ghana?
Oh, I see. But for the sake of some of our viewers, in our parts of the country.
All right. So, look, if you solve the procurement process, you will laugh and cry at the same time. Olenoko, because they want a favorite company to win, we had issues with Thales. I don't mind saying all those things, but let me just be brief. You see, when you are doing procurement at the entity level, there are scores you give assigned for whatever, robustness or whatever. There are all kinds of things you look at. When they tabulated the scores for Thales, the company they wanted to win by all means, in fact, they got 85 plus, I think 13. I'll look for the number again. And these are records we saw. It's not as if we were pulling this thing from Tinder again. No. The procurement record. And don't ask me how we got them. I'll tell you how we got them later. Then we found out that in tabulating the individual scores, 85 plus 13 is, what is it? J98. Alumina 85 plus 13.
Yeah, that's 98, yeah.
In EC's arithmetic world, they said 106. The closest company that came second was, I think, 102 or 1 or something. But because you saw 106 there, you think that the company won. That is clear bid rigging. Clear bid rigging. Anyway, you see, so moving from that.
I'll be interested in seeing that report myself.
Oh, but Salam, I'm surprised at you, really. Come on. It's all there. I mean, what was it called? These were published way back in 2020, by the way. They were so convinced that we went all the way to that Santini's place. That, look, these people want to waste money. Let's prevent them. All these BVR machines cannot be dead. It's not true. But because we're in an election and it was tense, I'm sure people felt that, oh, maybe Emmanuel are overdoing it and we are trying to subvert the election. No. Far from it. Far from it. In any case, so because they rigged the procurement route, the entity tender committee chairman actually recused himself because of that. You are not getting how we got the document, right? Then, in fact, the people they put together to even do the tender, it was shambolic. There was a young girl who had just finished law school. I think the day before she finished law school, she was young and added together. So I'm telling you that the quality of the people who were now, how do you call it, superintending over multi-million-dollar contracts, which is what we see all over all the time with contracts in this country, they were not up to par. Most of them were not up to par. And I'll share something the great minister told me recently about procurement, how to save money in this country. Anyway, that's much later. So from knowing very well that they had rigged those rules, now that they were not disposing these same machines of, you've been accused of seducing the chief's wife. Now that you have the opportunity to dispose these machines of, why won't you do it properly? You say what? You wrote to the finance ministry, the finance ministry gave you clearance. Of course, the finance ministry will say, yes, of course, if it will get us some small money, why not? Let's do that. But the processes to doing that, the auctioneers, you heard Jean Mensah, when this matter broke, saying that we invited an auctioneer. The first time, she also said we invited some companies to come and look at the machines. You don't invite them. You put a public tender for them to come and tell you how they're actually going to bid for this thing, who the best auctioneer will be, and then the bidders who won the bid to buy the equipment themselves, we should also know. Shibo mentioned some company. The company is a recycling company, they are not in the processes of, they are not in the business of, how do you call it, purchasing these machines very well. So data issues are clear. And you see, the reason why this is also more important is that, look, maybe the NDC is probably feeding off all of this and saying, look, we don't trust you. First of all, I didn't even tell everybody that these machines were missing. It was some small meeting somewhere that they mentioned that they had 10 or so machines missing. It was not even clear. Now that all of these have come out, that the way you're even disposing these machines of, we're not doing it properly. And how did we know? We sent scouts around and found out that they were banning these equipment, that EC equipment, and we were alerted. And we sent our scouts around. That's how those pictures came. Otherwise, did you see the EC even telling you how these things were being disposed of? They did not. And we found out that 10 of them were seen somewhere, and they sent the police to go and retrieve them. Why do you do things like this? These equipment are very sensitive. You don't dispose these things of like you're disposing just some animal carcass away. You don't do that. They are clear, proper data systems. They are proper systems of disposing these things of. So for me, it has nothing to do with any targeting. And I think people are thinking, the other day I saw somebody say that, oh, maybe we want the EC removed. We are interested in the EC's job. Well, first of all, the job is not it's not rocket science. I mean, you can do it if you have good conscience. All these people sitting there, how many of them the EC herself have made what experience does she have in running elections? You understand? So the least you can do is to serve as some very confident, very, very confident looking organization that you deliver elections and people will not have anything to say about you. So our whole is to save money for the country and prevent procurement shenanigans. That's all there is.
Very well. Great points there, frankly. Doc, before I come to you, I want to play this clip from the NDC press conference where they make the request for a few things. So this Johnson Asedun Ketia, the chairman of the NDC, speaking at a recent press conference.
What does the EC have to hide? What is their fear over the mere recording of the serial numbers of these BVR kits, knowing very well some have been stolen under your watch? Some have been stolen under your watch. We say, let us track and protect those that are yet to be stolen. And you are resisting. Are you not part of the thieves? Is there something they are hiding from the public? Will our precautionary measure not prevent the criminals who stole the BVR kits from using them to illegally register people? If the EC has nothing to hide, they should just allow all willing political parties to record the serial numbers of BVR kits during this limited voter registration exercise.
Johnson is here.
We wish to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, that NDC registration agents across the country will resist the EC's clandestine attempts aimed at diminishing transparency in the voter registration exercise. Let me emphasize that our agents must activate the party's high-tech application systems to transmit all serial numbers of BVR kits in their district and electoral areas to the National Elections and IT Directorate of the party, with or without the approval of the electoral.
All right, so that's Johnson Asidinkiti, chairman of the, it will take a while for us to transition from general secretary to chairman, even though he's been chairman for a few years now, chairman of the National Democratic Congress. The EC also responded with a statement. They say that they are unable to provide the serial numbers because one, there are risks. One is that it will compromise, compromise of kit security. So the serial numbers are integral to the security framework of the BVR kit. Disclosure of these numbers could potentially allow unauthorized access to the devices, thereby compromising the integrity of the voter registration process. Two, targeted manipulation risks. It says that knowledge of the serial numbers could enable targeted attacks on specific BVR kits located at certain parts of the country, thereby causing chaos, political conflict, and operational challenges. Mention phishing and fraud. Serial numbers could be used to facilitate fraudulent activities, including phishing attacks, where a criminal with the serial number can trick EC personnel into believing they are registration officials, potentially leading to unauthorized disclosures and access to sensitive information. They also talked about operational integrity. The EC maintains a structured protocol for activation and operation of BVR kits designed to ensure that all devices are used solely for their intended purpose and for authorized personnel only. Disclosing these numbers disrupts this protocol and endangers the operational integrity of our system. Also talked about given the above potential risks that disclosing serial numbers could pose, it is pertinent for stakeholders to address their minds to Section 7, subsection 1J of the Right to Information Act, which provides in part as follows. Information is exempt from disclosure where the information contains matters which, if disclosed, can reasonably be expected to endanger a system, including computer and communication systems, for which security is reasonably required. And so in terms of the centers, they talked about the fact that the centers were gazetted, there's polling agent oversight, there's detailed reporting, there's provisional register, and all of that that Dr. Kwapon mentioned earlier. Doc, putting these two together, the NDC statement asking for the BVR serial numbers and the explanation by the EC why they cannot provide these, is there a justification really, in your view, for the NDC wanting to have the serial numbers, and for what exactly?
Yeah, so I had never heard of this, the serial numbers ever being an issue, right? No party, I don't recall any party ever asking of it since it's been part of the electoral registration process. So I was curious. I think I read a statement attributed to, I think it's their deputy director for elections, who had said that it's just so they can be assured of the numbers that are being churned out by the particular BVR devices. So when you juxtapose that against what the EC said, I said to myself, if the EC had stopped short at, well, we can't give it to you because of these reasons, then you would say, not very satisfying, but I can understand the reasons that you have raised. But then, the list of things that you mentioned, when I read those additional things that said, look, if it is the integrity of the register and the integrity of the numbers that you are worried about, keep these things in mind, the gazetted, the agent oversight, etc., etc. So I look at all of those things and I say, okay, if your basic concern is that you are not sure the numbers that will be churned out onto these registers, can you at least have some faith and trust that these processes would ensure that nobody tampers with whatever numbers will be produced at the end of the day, which is why for me, I found the EC statement acceptable. But again, at the bottom of this, is this mistrust issue, right? If you don't trust someone, no matter what they say, you would always take it with a pinch of salt. And I don't know, I mean, yes, especially post 2020, you saw that deterioration of the relationship between the NDC and the EC. As I mentioned earlier on, I was happy that they rejoined IPAC, because then I said, it's a good faith effort to show that, look, we can restore this broken relationship. We will participate, we would give our input, build consensus, give our etc., etc. So I'm just worried that it is coming up again, and these issues are beginning to brew. I just hope that sooner rather than later, all of it can be at least addressed to a point where it is satisfactory enough that even as the NDC, for example, pledges to be vigilant and provide all the oversight that it would, that suspicion, would the temperature of that suspicion would go down, because we need it. We do really need it to ensure that we have a peaceful election. I mean, I don't have any doubts that we wouldn't. I believe we would, but the EC's role is also very, very, very critical. In ensuring that.
So from where you sit and from all you're saying and the information you've gathered in respect of this now, you don't think the NDC's call for these serial numbers is necessary? Would that be correct?
Yes, in the sense that if really it's the numbers and the integrity of the register, then the processes that have been built into it, I hope gives them enough assurance that even if you don't have access to these serial numbers, these processes in place ultimately would allow you to say, we can still accept the integrity, of the voters register that is produced at the end of the day.
All right, Ninanti Vanderpoel here doesn't agree with the last point you made. Why should, they've given some compromised kid security, targeted manipulation. We don't want a situation where the whole system will be compromised. So let's keep it a secret, or let's keep it close to our chest. And there are other ways of getting the same information.
Dr. Kapong, I guess let's all be frank with ourselves here. You have a number of equipment we are using. As we see today, you and I do not know the ones that are missing. You understand? So we are engaging in an exercise. If we don't have an inventory of the machines we are using today, and then we finish, then tomorrow, another one appears. You understand? Another one appears with a different set of names and everything.
Yeah, but the one that appears would have been connected to a polling station or a registration center, which you should have. Look, the one will have details of polling agents, etc., on there or in there. So given all these information, you should be able to check to see whether indeed this was part of the general pool or not.
You see, the issue is that once the name is there with a particular serial number,
the EC has the capacity in their own listing to feed in. They can feed in once the thing has been collected by one of their systems. They can feed in easily.
And they will add to the other centers.
Yes. So that is why we are saying that, look, if it is 100 or 1,000 machines that are working today, let's all know. All the, we are not saying we want it. MPP should have it. All the political parties, all the active players should know it. Then we can all, at the end of the system, do our inventories and to be able to ascertain that these machines that were used in Ablekuma's Central, Ododo, and this, and that no other machine, an alien machine, has entered the system. No data from a particular machine that is not known to us has entered the system. It's a simple thing.
But the claim, I mean, there are concerns about security and manipulation and all of that.
Security
are also important.
The EC itself sat there and got their own machines stolen.
It is cyber security, not physical security. You are a security expert.
Yes, cyber security. So I'm saying that as for cyber security, even what they are doing today, somebody can easily tap everything, all the data they have, they are building. Somebody can easily tap all that data.
And so they want to reduce.
So that's why they don't want to give you the
So I'm saying that if we have the serial numbers, and at the end of the day we know that this is what is on this particular machine, when somebody tampers with that data, all of us will know, because we all have access to it.
No, but they are saying that this is a security issue. They cannot give.
They are using the security just as an excuse.
To political parties, and which for me, I think that
are we not? I know what. Are we not?
We are stakeholders. We are players.
Yes.
But this is
giving
information.
Giving it to the public.
It's giving it to the public.
Listen. It's not giving it to the public. The EC at the end of every registration give us data.
Yes, the printout.
Yes. So what are we talking about?
And that will have the serial numbers of the machines they used.
No, they give us polling stations. You understand? The same way we are saying that, look, for this, and at every election, before the commencement of the election, you give us
start of day.
Yeah, start of day and everything. Okay. You give us all this data relating to the polling station and all those things. What is wrong with it? What is
so you
the
don't see the
NDC
security
asking?
Concerns they are raising?
No, it is not there. They are just using this as an excuse to be able to keep that data to themselves and not share. And that's why we are hinging on the issue of transparency. Look, you say, look, this is what you're asking for. Okay, NDC have it, but then we ensure that this does not go out to any other hand apart from you.
But it is not possible.
It's possible. It's possible. For the integrity of the elections, the NDC, the MPP will protect that. You understand? The issue is that, you see, don't forget one fact. I sit here, I don't trust the EC. I don't.
Neither do I.
And the only way, you trust it. You trust the EC. And the only way the EC can build trust in me is to open up to me. When I ask for something that is basic, I say, you are using this machine. Say, can we know the number of this machine? So that at the end of it all, we can also track to know whether you appropriately recorded what we are supposed to record in that machine. That's all. So that any foreign material that is alien to what I have, I will be able to know that I can do the reconciliation and know that, look, this is what we got at the end of the exercise. This name were not part of the records we have.
But how can you enter the machine and get this information that you're talking about? Because when the EC starts work at 7, before they begin the work, they'll give you a copy of they call it
start of day.
Start of day.
Yes.
There's nothing on. They give you all the information on it. After they have finished,
do you know what they give? The start of day. They give the number which the previous day ended, and then what will start today.
Exactly.
That's what I say.
So that
they don't give you the number of that system is coming from.
The serial number is not on that document.
No. Assuming they ended with 55. So when they are starting, you start 56. With 55, and then they tell them we are starting from 66.
56, yeah.
Yes, going. And that's what they are giving to you. When they give this document to you, at the end of the day, the number of people that they have registered, they also give to the political parties.
But you don't know the system from which that document is coming from.
Yeah, but this system to acceding, Citi. Yes. I thought he said they had their own ways of getting that information, and that information is available at the at the registration center.
Yes, and that's why the numbers and the serial numbers.
The agents are sitting with the EC officials.
From which machine that data is coming from.
But they are using only one machine.
What I'm saying is that's why I'm saying that Salom is the registering officer here.
Yes.
He's using this machine.
Yes.
All that I'm asking for is that even though you give me start of day on the matter of data, I want to know the machine that
whether it's
I
coming
can
from
relate.
this particular
That's
machine.
the issue. Simple. That can relate the figures you are giving me with this machine. Because if I don't do that, at the end of the day, foreign materials could be added to the data on this.
That's a lot of mistrust, Honorable.
Yes, but why? Why shouldn't I mistrust this EC? This EC, why shouldn't I mistrust it? I will forever, I will never. This EC is the devil himself.
Oh, these words are too strong.
But what should I say?
They cannot be the devil, Honorable.
Oh,
they cannot be the devil. You may not disagree with how they work, but
no. The issue is that they've not done anything to make me see any righteousness about them.
Let me see what Franklin thinks briefly.
Franklin himself, Franklin himself said it.
No, I know Franklin has his own issue.
If you say they are not seeing anything, I don't know what exactly you want them to do for you to ask.
You said they want the numbers.
Let me tell you, Eben, when in this country, you said I'm far older than you, so let me say that at least I've been around for some time. In our history, Solomon, when have you seen an EC populated with political active players?
Honorable, look. Salom.
But
we are building institutions.
Everybody has an affiliation.
Exactly. Yes. Today, let me appoint you today. Let Leonardo appoint you today.
Which party my
grandfather supports? Have you seen a video of a member of the EC following the vice president?
That's you see.
So there was an event.
You have to get the facts right.
So there was an event in Sunani. The vice president was there, and this EC gentleman, who was the subject of a lot of controversy, when he was appointed, appeared to have been part of the team. Of course, we've heard explanations that he was there and the vice president also came. So not that he went there because of him and all of that.
This is somebody who is a lecturer in that institution. They are having a program. You can call your colleague and friend Samson, Joy FM, and ask him about the program. Who are the resource persons for the program? And he's a resource person. Something like is a resource person. So if they attend the program, and the vice president is also on the campaign tour, and the vice president also goes there, does it mean?
But he didn't know the vice president was going there.
That's who knows. He doesn't know the vice president is coming there.
No, but it should be on the vice president doesn't appear.
The vice president is doing a campaign.
Vice president wouldn't just appear at a program.
No. The vice president is on the campaign tour.
But he had an official program to attend.
So if the vice president is going to a place,
he had an official.
They don't do reconnaissance. Is that they don't send information to if there's a program here and the vice president is coming there?
It might be that it is not on the vice president list of going to that school.
So it just went there.
It's a good opportunity. There's a program going on. Let's take advantage. And you and I are politicians. We do that.
But did he have to go and be cozy, shaking, and all of that?
So what is wrong if the vice president comes and shake hands with the dignitaries that have been invited as resource
person? It may not be wrong, but given the controversies about
surrounding the person,
about partisanship that surrounded the person, okay, he could have avoided all of this. He may not have, or he shouldn't have. How am I even saying it? He may have decided not to approach the vice president in that manner, or even not to be at the program.
The vice president got there when the vice president got there. He was already there. He is part of the speakers who are supposed to address the students. The vice president, as a sign of respect, when he got there, have to greet those who are the speakers on the days. So when you get to the vice president, he should deny that.
He should go.
We are not talking about
what are we
greeting.
talking
We are not talking about greeting here. Have you seen the video very well?
No, but
after program. The after program event. Have you seen it?
So there was an after program event.
Yes.
Nilante.
And like you said,
what happened at the after program event?
Is it like you said? He was just so happy. So nice being part of the entourage.
You smile a bit.
I was just telling somebody that.
You see, you have made a point here. You have made a point. The guns have a problem. They said, cases and told there.
And no Sony.
Today, your guy is on the phone.
That's why he's making Frank Mills speak.
No. You see, the truth of the matter is that you said it. Look, Eben sitting here, assuming there's this rumor about Eben. You understand? It may not be factual. Then Eben is seen patronizing the same place for which there's rumor about. it brings into question
issues of judgment,
yes.
discretion, indiscretion. I mean,
yes,
all
and
of those
the position you are occupying, you must be very sensitive to those things.
You see, I agree perfectly with you, but my point is that the person has been appointed or has been invited by the institution that he used to be, right? They are having a function. Is an engagement with the youth, and it's about ICT.
But upon hindsight, could he have done better? Do you think he could have done better?
You cannot blame him. The person that went there is the person that might be, let me say, have created this problem for him. Because he has been invited. He never knew the vice president is coming to that program.
Oh.
So if he has been at the program, and the vice president have arrived at the place unexpectedly, taking advantage of it to come and campaign.
Very well. We have managed political figure before.
We have let's do a quick one. Dr. Sribo Kwaku, yes, Dr. Sribo Kwaku, Director of Electoral Services, is joining us to tell us his views about the process so far. Hello, Doc. Good morning. Welcome to the big issue. Quickly or briefly, what's been your assessment so far? It's been about 4 or 5 days since you began this limited voter registration exercise. What was your assessment so far? The first 2 days, not very good, but what can you tell us now? Hello, Doc. It does appear we're having difficulties with Doc. Hello, Doc. Can you hear me? Okay, so Doc can hear me. So, yes, I posed the question. Where are we now? I mean, what can you tell us about the process so far? First day, second day, not very good. Where are we now?
Good morning to you and your listeners. Mm-hmm. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. First, I want to greet my senior brother, Nina Tebadapon.
Nina Tebadapon this morning has been senior to a lot of people.
Yes, he's a friend. He was my senior, and we are all
in school together.
I see.
So he knows me very, very well.
I see.
And I'm surprised that he said he doesn't trust the Electoral Commission, and we are more than able.
No, not that he doesn't trust you as his friend, a phobia friend. Is that the institution you work with?
I'm also an able person to him.
Okay.
And the irony of it is that when the parties are doing the election, they fall on us to do it for them. Mm-hmm. So in that case, in that case, I will still the devil and whatever. Anyway, I was watching you and I wanted to correct some of the issues that he raised.
Okay.
And I know you were trying to correct him. One, the BVR or the laptop serial number that he was checking off. I want to put on record that it is not the BVR that is missing, but the laptop. So there's a difference between the BVR kits and the laptop. It's the laptop that is missing. Again, if the Electoral Commission wants to be mischievous, we don't need to use a stolen BVR kit to do what he was talking. If the Electoral Commission is criminally minded, we don't need to steal our own laptop to use it. We still have a lot of laptop or the BVR kit that we can use to do what he was saying, if it is possible. But I want to say that if you remember, on the first day of registration, the challenges we were having was difficulty in processing the access code. So it means that even we ourselves, when we are using our own access code, it is not easy. That's why we are having challenges at the initial point. So if somebody steals the BVR, to how to get access code to use, it's not possible. Again, unless they have information that I don't know, when we use the BVR, the BVR are not linked to the registered voters. In other words, if you're given the list, you wouldn't know it was used by this kit or that kit or that kit. So getting the serial number kit will not be of any beneficial in terms of that registration, unless it is for a specific reason which I may not know. So I want them to relax. They should train their agents very well. They should follow the registration and pick all the data with respect to the start of day record and end of day record. We are doing for 21 days. So if you put all your end of day record for 21 days,
it should give you the total number which were registered during this exercise. We will give, and when we finish and print the provisional register, they will have it. Fortunately for us, this time, all the ID cards have the date that you registered. So when he looks at his own voter ID card, or if you yourself you look at yours, rather if the date that you registered is also specified on it. All these things have been put in place in such a way that nobody can bring materials from outside. So they should, and he said he doesn't trust us. But unfortunately for him, it is the same electoral commission that conducted election and declared him a winner. It is the same electoral commission that will conduct 2024 election and declare the winner. And I've said it and I will continue to say, if my brother Nina Akufo-Addo is made a chairperson of the electoral commission, he can't do anything to change the will of Ghanaians. So they should trust us. As we have been doing it, we'll continue to do it. And when 2024 is done, whatever the result will be, we will agree that we have done a good job.
Yes, so a few points. Yes, a few points. Of course, if Nila Akufo-Addo is made the chairman of the EC, you're saying that he cannot do anything to change the will.
Yes.
But the process, if the process is such that it does not favor one side, then that is a problem. So the issue they are raising is one. I'm sure they are raising those issues because they don't trust you, and I'm sure that you know, as the Electoral Commission, that there's some trust deficit between yourself and the NDC. I don't know what you are doing about that. But for example, the missing BVRs or missing laptops, the struggle here and there before the EC got to tell us that, the fact that there was some recycling of some machines ongoing somewhere in Medina and all of that, they thought that because they were stakeholders.
Let's separate the two.
Yes, okay, sure. But I'm putting them together because of the lack of information or communication with the stakeholders in respect of this. They are different. But his view is that as stakeholders, they should have been kept in the loop so they know what it is. For example, the machines being recycled, what information is present on it? Have you wiped off the information? Yes, I know the EC may do so or say yes. But the question is, how does he know that it is true you wipe the information out in this era of data protection, etc.? So these are some of the concerns.
Let me explain. The BVR, BVDs that you are talking of were not used in 2020. They are the old kits. So they are not part of the current registration system. We use the equipment that were acquired in 2020. These ones were acquired earlier than the 2020. So the disposal kits are not part of the current system. So that's the first. The second point is that after every registration, to end of life. So even those which are part of the existing kits, once we do the end of life, we wipe off all information or data on it. So they will remove them. But the most important thing is that those that were disposed of were not part of the 2020 system, let alone being part of 2022 or 2020, 2024.
I see. So yes, I trust what you have said, but because of what they say is mistrust, or what appears to be mistrust, wouldn't it have been better if, for example, you had told them at IPAC that we have X number of machines from maybe 2016 we want to dispose of. So this is the data, or these are the numbers we want to dispose of. This the auctioneering process, etc. So that when they hear it, they know that they know about it already. It's not a 2021. It's not. I mean, it's old. So there's no cause for alarm. This doesn't happen. They only get to know through some means, Imani, etc. And then now, all of this is happening. So deal with the issue of mistrust for me. Do you recognize that there's mistrust, and how do you deal with that? And we know information, communication, or transparency will deal with that. So how is the EC addressing matters of mistrust?
Like I was talking of, we should also know that Electoral Commission has its own administrative procedures, and the country as Ghana has also its administrative procedures. So when anything happens, what you have to do is go by what the state guidelines are. And if you are talking of the disposal, we did everything transparently. We advertised it. The auction was publicized in the graphic. The Minister of Finance was written to. Approval was given. The state valuer did the valuation. So everything was done in line with the administrative status. So I don't know that because it is the Electoral Commission, Now, if when we are doing employment, we should involve the parties. Everything that we are doing, we should do it. Then that is, then we cannot do any work. Because the structures are there, we are going by what the laws of Ghana are saying. If you are going contrary to the laws, that's why we have the courts. That's why we have the RTI and those things. You can seek those things. But for us to say that now, without the party's approval, we can't do anything, then that's the problem. For example, we wanted to introduce a CI for registration so that what we are having now will be the thing of the past. Because if you have started with identifying ourselves, the fighting, the gun shooting, and the rest will have been off. But now, the electoral community cannot take any decision unless it is given approval by a political party. I don't think it is done anywhere in the world. It doesn't apply anywhere.
I see. But of course, we may have a peculiar situation, and so the peculiarity of our situation may require that the EC may have to look at its ways again. Not necessarily because it doesn't happen elsewhere. I mean, what is good for our system is all we have to do.
Obsolete items, the party should give approval first.
No approval. How about they being put in the loop? They knowing about it at IPAC, mentioning at IPAC that maybe for this A, B, and C reasons, we want to dispose of these machines. What do you not that what you guys think? We are just telling you. How about that? So they know.
What I'm saying is that we went through the statutory procedures. So if anybody thinks that there are certain things that legally we were supposed to do that we didn't do, that was an issue. But for IPAC to be involved in every decision of the commission, it will be a challenge. In that case, because if you attend IPAC and the rest, there are a number of instances. One will say A, another will say B. Then you'll be battling A and B. You can't make progress. So where it is about the procedures, such as we will involve them, but administrative issues, I don't think we need to be bringing them in.
Very well. Maybe a very final one on the registration. I mean, maybe two things quickly. Do you know about the numbers as we speak? I know your target is to register some 620,000 people. I know it's still live, it's still ongoing. You may not have the figures offhand, but do you have a sense of?
I have.
Okay. So how many people have been registered so far in the last few days?
For instance, the first day that we were all complaining about, we registered around 16 to 17,000 as compared to 2023 when we registered only 12,000. So we are comparing them with these figures, and our expectation was that these year's figures should be less than last year, because last year at that time we had not done registration in 2021, 2022 plus the 2023, so it was 3 years. This time we did the registration in 2023, so we're expecting that it will be only this year's figures plus some backlog. But the way things are going, automatically, if care is not taken, we are going to go beyond the 2023. In that case, it also means that our registrable ratio to population will also be very high. So I'm just appealing to our stakeholders that as much as possible, let us help register only qualified Ghanaians who are 18, so that our register will not become bloated at the end of the day.
Finally, so I mean, it's a matter we've spoken about many times, and the EC has responded to many times. But again, the centrality or centralizing the registration just at one place. My guests, I mean, who have been MPs or are MPs and civil society people, have all raised questions about that. You know, one at the center for everybody to join. Somebody sends a message from the Sojaman constituency saying that the center is at Akosombo. People have to come from Enumbo. So when they are coming, they must come with guarantors, 2 of them. They come the first, they are not able to do it. They go back. In and out one day for one person is 120 cedis times 3. That's around 360 cedis. For 2 days, you know, that's around 720 cedis. Just for one person to be registered. That is quite a lot of money in our current circumstances. So will you, upon hindsight, want to revise the strategy of limiting the registration exercise to just a district office, you know, in the future? Or you think that the approach you are using is the way to go, and that will be it?
Okay. First, we should understand that this is limited voters registration. In all mass registration like we did in 95, 2004, 2012, and 2020, they were done at the various polling stations. Any other registration that has ever been done in Ghana is done at the polling stations. If you look in 2023, we did not do difficult to access areas because we knew that one was for DLE where the stakes were not high. With this one, we know it is general elections. So we, in addition to the 268 district offices, we identified 785 difficult to access areas. And so the registration is not being done at the only central point. The central point are 268, but we are going further to 785 difficult to access areas, in addition to 25 public universities. So it's not correct to say that it is being done centrally. Again, the law says everybody Ghanaian who's 8 years should be registered so they can vote. So you have the right, but you also have a view that you also have a responsibility. No matter where you put the registration center, somebody may incur a cost. Because there are some places.
Yeah, but you see, that shouldn't be, the cost shouldn't be one that will overburden the person. And it should be reasonable. If I'm to move from maybe Tesano to even Achimota to go and register, that's reasonable. But to move from maybe Tesano all the way to a place close to Insawam for the purpose of registration, that is a disincentive, is it not?
That one will not be the same place, unless you yourself you want to go to where your hometown is.
No, I'm just saying, for the, I mean, because some constituencies are very wide.
I think that's why we identify the difficult to access areas. So the difficult to access areas are to cater for what we are talking about. I
see. All right. We wish you the best.
My regards to my senior, he didn't greet me.
Nilante, your friend is asking how many you have in Bolivar. I don't know if you have the number off your head, but
he didn't greet me.
He didn't greet you. Nilante said you didn't greet him.
We'll talk about our issues after the program.
All right. Let him also know that we have escaped from relegation.
Okay, so which Olympics? Okay, no, across the board. It says you guys have been spared the relegation. So
the phobia spirit is back. The phobia spirit is back.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for speaking to us. We are grateful. We thank you for your work you're doing. Only that people want you to talk more. People want you to engage them more, but that's fine. All the best, and we wish you the very best in your work. So that's Dr. Sribo Kwaku, Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission, providing some insight and explanation to some of the issues raised. We are wrapping up on this quickly. Let me start off with Franklin. Just 1 minute to tell us whether he's been convinced by the issue. Just quickly. We ran out of time on this matter. Franklin?
Well, as far as the organization of the registration goes, I think it's a process, and I think they should deal with the matters involving people registering from very far places. I think that those ones are administrative issues. They can deal with those. I think the NDC needs to be clear what they actually want, because the BVR kits is a set of equipment, right? They are laptops, they are high-resolution cameras, they are scanners, and sometimes even printers. So what exactly do they want? Do they want the serial numbers of all of those? The challenge really is that it's back to the fact that the EC cannot be trusted. And so if you say that a laptop is missing, some is missing, people want to be sure, because these are devices that are collecting information, right? So otherwise, asking for this information, in any case, I would have said, well, so why not? Why don't you could still give it? Look, when we're using pink sheets, every pink sheet has got a code, right? Just see this as this is just like the pink sheet analogy, really. These are machines that are collecting information. To the extent that yes, they can be compromised, it is important that every serial number, they themselves would have it, and they should know. I think it is useful. I don't think saying that the NDC saying they are not wanting it for themselves. They want it for the parties as well. I don't see how a serial number just given can lead to the compromise of an equipment. I don't know what type of technology would let that happen, unless these machines are connected to a particular source, and that's how the hacking could actually happen. But as I speak, if these machines are spread wide everywhere in the country, it's not possible that anybody can hack it just because they got a serial number. So they should provide it to the parties. I don't see any problem, especially because they can be trusted. They use some of the old machines in the last elections. We have video evidence of that. So it's the same thing. The NDC is now mistructing them, that these 10 that are missing, and probably more. We don't even know whether there's actually 10 that is missing, or probably more.
Very well.
You trust them at your own risk.
Great. Dr. Kwapo, quick thoughts on Dr. Sribo.
So again, he's offered the EC side of the whole issue. My two really quick points are, for me, for the EC, even as they guard, quote unquote, jealously their independence, I hope that they'll be guided by transparency. They will be minded by the fact that trust has eroded and it needs to be rebuilt. Whatever key issues happen, I hope that they will have a very rapid response system in place. I hope they'll be more proactive than waiting for issues to emerge before responding. For the NDC, the biggest opposition party, I really hope that this doesn't occasion their rethinking of why they rejoined IPAC. I hope they will still engage the EC. I hope they will still engage, the IPAC process. And I hope that, we have a number of months before the election, but I hope that as, time goes on, some of these differences can be resolved and get them to a place of an improved level of trust going into the 2024 election.
Very well. Great. Honorable Ebenezer Nate.
Yeah. I think what I said initially is not different from the response that EC Kweku also alluded to. So for me, I don't think that yes, there are challenges, and then it has been for the past 2 days it has been good. I am hoping that we are in the early days yet. Today is the 5th day. We are having about 16 days more to go. And I hope and believe that everything will be small. I still stand by if the EC can also take a second look at the district level where the registration is being done. For the
there are over 785 hard-to-reach areas. So they've done the assessment. Areas which are hard to reach, they have centers there.
Yes. No, these are areas that they are in the hinterlands. And as Honorable Lante gave an example, like a place like that farm place, you have to cross the platoon or whatever they call it before you come to where the district office is. Those are the places that they have been able to send an additional case to those areas. I am talking about even those of us in the city. Let me give you another example. Just Okankwe North constituency. Their district office is at the Achimota Secondary School. Look at where Okankwe North is. They share boundary with Ablekuma North at Olebu, Shiabu, those areas. Anyansotum, their office is at how do you call it? Awoshi. When you look at the distance from
the distance that this is
exactly, so it will be good if there's a way out.
Great.
For people to, other than that, it will also, as I said, it will involve these Basin that people which we are talking about. After the NDC asking for the serial numbers of the destiny, for me, as I said, even if they give it to them,
you don't know what they're using for.
You don't know.
No problem.
Well, you see, the issue is not just about Basin. It's not about the EC doing what he thinks is right. The issue is the EC must do what is convenient, will make the system smooth. For example, let me give you an example. I don't just understand why the EC. You have 3 constituencies registering at one venue.
Like
Ayawaso North.
Okay.
Ayawaso Central.
Ayawaso West.
And then Okankwe.
No, Ayawaso West.
No, and then Koleklote.
Yeah.
All registering at the EC office.
Because they fall within the same district?
No, because they don't have district
offices. Oh, you understand? And so when you go there, I saw your cameras there. Yes. It's just a mess.
Chaotic,
It's chaotic.
I think they need to really
these are the things we're talking about, that you are running a system for people. So look at what will make the system convenient for the people so that they will easily get attracted to the service you are offering. That's all we're asking for.
Very well. All right, great, thanks. So we'll take a short break. We will return and look at the issue about legacy or lack of it, and whether there should be a protection of same or not. This is the big issue. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. This is the big issue. We are live on 97.3 Citi FM. We are also on Citi TV and on our socials. We are happy to have you join us. We just dealt with the matter of the EC's limited voter registration exercise and all the matters arising therefrom. Now, President Akufo-Addo is said a few things recently. He at Dobro on the Blue Skies Limited event, said that nobody should vote for John Mahama. Of course, we expect him to say that. But he said if they vote for him, he will not protect his legacy. And question us a reason about what he meant by legacy. John Mahama has hit back to say that, of course, he will not protect his legacy of corruption, misgovernance, and all of that. That has generated some discussion. This is Nana Akufo-Addo speaking at the event at Dobro, at the premises of Blue Skies Limited.
Na registration na share obia all register here utumi register no mesra mo kola mo kotoso mo register the down sa na tie se waba no e na kire utumi e wo Ghana na fezo ebre ne dua ye djuma ye no e tie anya den onipa me ba me betu no wakonwa no so no a bibia me ye no so enya no fe me to me jamachi emma obisa bibia ma ye oba wa be say no.
All right, so that's Nana Akufo-Addo saying that bibia wa ye oba be say you come and destroy his legacy. All right, so John Mahama also hit back. He posted or tweeted on his X handle. This was what he said, that he will not protect the legacy of corruption, mismanagement, and all of that. So here we have him. So of course, I will not protect your legacy of corruption, misgovernance, arrogance, ineptitude, bankrupt economy, increased unemployment, and pushing more of our people into poverty, into their poverty bracket. So that's just what has generated some discussion. And so we are looking at this briefly in the next 30 minutes, then we call it a day. Let me start off with you, Eben. What he means, or the president meant by legacy. Of course, there are reasons why somebody will want to take you off the seat, because the person feels that you've not done well. Obviously, the things you've not done well, the person will come and correct them or will do them better. To say that when the person comes, he will destroy the good things you have done is quite a huge one. Why did Nanado think that John Mahama will not protect his legacy?
Thank you very much. I think the president made the statements during the week at a program at Blue Sky. This is not the first time the president is paying visits to the Blue Sky company. This is the second or the third time. All is in support of what government have been able to assist the Blue Sky. And in the course of his interaction with the people, I have heard some people saying that that's not a good platform for the president to make that statement. I've also heard people saying that yes, it's a good platform for the president to make that statement because of what people have been saying. Oh, Onyeshi, he has not done anything. What the president is saying is that, look, if come on the 7th of December, Ghanaians will go to the poll and elect a new president who will come and succeed me. But I will suggest to you, and I will plead with you, and I will beg of you, that when you are giving a mandate to somebody come on the 7th of December, the right person for you to give him that mandate is no other person than Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia to come and succeed, to continue the work that I have started. If we give it to a different person, whatever we have been able to do, and we are doing it today, he might not be able to continue it and do it as expected, and it might even destroy it.
To destroy what? And so now the response, the unemployment levels up. So is he coming to destroy, and that's not a good legacy. Is he coming to destroy a bad legacy? Then that will be good. People have lost money in the debt exchange program. People are still recovering. And that's not a good legacy. does it have to protect that legacy? I don't think any serious-minded politician will say they will protect what harm DDEP has come to inflict on you. So that doesn't really put him in a good light. Many have argued.
When we came to power, we did what we called banking restructuring. What was the cost of it? And who was in the M of affairs?
But that's even controversial because the approach.
No, who was in the who was in
it was obviously the NDC government.
Yes,
but they said the approach you used was too expensive.
What approach?
And that they had a plan in mind. That's why they passed the new act.
When did they have a plan in mind?
That's why they passed the new act.
Why didn't they
all the things you did from that act.
Why didn't they implement those plans that they had before they left off? What time?
2016 act was passed. Election in December.
Don't be deceived by the NDC.
No, it's fact that the law is talking here.
The fact of the matter is that I perfectly agree with Donado that if you want to hand over power to somebody in this country, it is not the same John Mahama we all know. If you have been a different person from the NDC, I'll say fine. But the same John Mahama, if the same John Mahama we all know, the same John Mahama who has been the president from 2012 to 2017, on the 7th of January 2017, if the same John Mahama, then there's no need. Because we have seen him before, managing the affairs of this country.
They call him nation builder.
They called him.
Yeah, they call him nation builder.
They called him. But is he a nation builder?
They have a few
we are talking about, no. You see, sometimes, this morning, Honorable Lante was saying a proverb in Ghana. I have mine in tree.
Okay.
Yesuma nyanseni enyana montentin.
Okay, which means?
Which means that if I want to send Salom, that's not because your legs are long. That is why I'm sending you.
Okay,
but it's because you are wise.
I see.
Because other than that, if you are thinking that somebody have long legs, so you can send him to go and buy water, he will go there and go and buy you Guinness. You understand? So if you are handing over government to somebody who has been in a seat for 6 good years, in fact, even before becoming the president, has been a vice president.
Yeah, he was in the seat for 4 years.
He knows the in and out of this government. But at the end of the day, what happens to us in this country? And you want to hand over to the same person again.
So the question is,
let me give one example.
Ghanaians better off today than they were in 2016. Look at the economic indicators.
You see,
it does appear that all the indicators are worse
every problem and the challenge, every government faces its own challenges. Join John Mahama's time, we have challenges. Join another's time, we have challenges. And that challenges have led to certain things that we are trying to do today. That is why I agree with the State Chief. When the Vice President went there, he said, look, I have a cocoa farm.
Your former constituency chairman.
I have a cocoa farm. And this cocoa farm, I gave it to somebody to manage it. He was not able to manage it. At the end of the day, I had to cut all the trees. Then get somebody to come and do everything again. Now I'm getting results out of it. This same person that I handed over to, and he could not do it, have come back to me that I should hand over back to him. Would I do that?
Why is Bamia the guy to do that then?
Perfect person.
Chairman of the economic management
Perfect person.
Vice president.
Perfect person.
And the economy is like this.
Perfect person.
Unemployment rate is terrible. World Bank says over 850,000 people have been pushed into the poverty bracket.
You see?
Under his watch as economic management boss, vice president.
Unemployment rate will be going high because from 2007
free SHS.
Yes, the number of students that complete university have increased more than what we used to have in 2012,
yeah, so that's
2015.
That's why the government should be thinking to create more jobs. You came to power on the promise of agenda for jobs.
Yes.
Where are those jobs should exist for those people to be taken into?
Look, it will be extremely difficult for any government to say that
enabling environment, no government to create.
No, but even if you are creating like Blue Sky, for instance, how many people would Blue Sky employed?
Blue Sky was set up in 1997.
No, how many can they employ? Yes. We are talking about 100 to 200,000 people completing university every year.
No, that's too much.
Go to Legon and go and check the number of people who completed last year.
Yes.
How many public universities do we have? And how many private universities? We even get more than that.
No.
Assuming 10,000 people completed in one university. Multiply by 10 universities, how many?
But the universities they don't have the same numbers. So universities have only hundreds of people.
But that's why I'm saying go to Legon and go and check the number of people who completed. Even just Gimpa. I'm doing my second master's in Gimpa. The last time, go and check the number of people who completed from Gimpa. You have UCC, you have Legon, you have TNUST, you have Tamale University, you have Winneba.
They are private universities.
They are private universities. Go and check the number of people that complete at the end of the year.
Great. But the point is, that's why.
So you cannot be able to employ everybody. So I agree perfectly with you when you say that, yes, there's a need for creating a labor environment for others to us. But the point is that,
has that environment been enabled? Cost of doing business, huge. Exchange rates, people are closing down businesses. Businesses are moving out of the country. Things are not well on.
Which business is moving out of the country?
Oh, we have discussed. But a lot of business.
If you are talking about SG, they also came out to say that
but that again, they said there's some restructuring happening at the top.
And it's not only in Ghana. They are restructuring.
But why did they exempt other countries, but they didn't exempt Ghana?
It depends on where people want to do their businesses.
I see.
So for me, I think that yes, I perfectly agree with the president that look, Ghanaians will not and will never trust John Mahama again. It's the same John Mahama. Unless the NDC is giving us a different John Mahama. But it's the same John Mahama we all know from Bole, who has been the assemblyman and a member of parliament, a deputy minister, and minister, and become vice president and become president. It's the same John Mahama. Then he's not the person that...
Look at this. A number of multinational companies that have seized operations in Ghana. Glovo, you know about that, right? Nivea, Jumia Foods, Lipton Tea, Dark and Lovely.
Lipton have sold their interest to a different
no problem, but they seized operations.
Yes, but there is an operation going on, but a different company.
How about Glovo? how about Jumia Food? Betting, they're betting. Bet 365. Bet 365.
Oh.
Game. South African game. Big. All of those, they've seized operations in Ghana. The reasons may be different, but the fact is that they are leaving, and so the Ghanaians we were working with will be unemployed. Honorable, so there are some good things, obviously, that this government has done that should require its successor to preserve and work to improve. That surely should be the way we grow this country.
Well, I want to thank Eben for the proverb he gave, that Yesuma onyansani enyana motintin. That's the more reason why people will have to vote for the nation builder. Because he's full of wisdom. He cares about this country. He can see into the future.
But he had opportunity.
When he had the opportunity, he did it. He did it. He inherited an energy crisis that every country, every government has run away from. He stood in front of Ghana and said, I will fix it.
For about 3 years.
I will not manage. Yes. Some countries have taken years, centuries. They've not been able to secure for themselves energy sufficiency. Some people have come into government for 7 years. They've not been able to add 1 cubic meter to our energy needs in this country. 7 years. So if he used 3 years to solve a problem, that today, he even did not even solve the problem. It's like you sitting here, Salom. Your father has built a house for you, put in bed, giving you a car, married for you, set everything up for you. You get up and you say they must clap for you. What about your father who built the house for you? You must not clap for him.
So the father is your Mahama, and Nanado is that son.
Somebody, Nanado himself, his father built for him. He has come to dispose of those assets and squandered them. So it's natural with the MP.
No, that's in terms of his personal. In terms of what? Is it in terms of personal things?
Yes.
Yes.
I will come to that. Let me tell you this. This country did not have the infrastructure that the MPP inherited in all aspects. Energy, education, health, road. This country did not have. John Mahama provided. John Mahama ensured that the future generation will have the benefit of this.
he built energy in such a way that in our quest for industrialization, we will not go back to those years, but we have sufficient energy to even take care of companies that will build manufacturing industries and that will be in 10 years.
But I see,
he provided an educational infrastructure.
Is that the good things he has done, John Mahama.
What good things he has done?
Free SHS.
How?
No, I mean, increased access. You might have issues with other parts.
Let me tell you.
But there's increased access.
The free SHS, education is not just about access, it's also about quality.
Yes, but access first.
Access for which sector of economy?
No, but
which sector of education?
There were people who did not have
access to secondary education.
Yes, there are people.
What about primary education?
No, that's FQ.
What about if you don't build the foundation? You cannot.
No, but there are more people in there are more people in the FQ system.
Let me come back to that one.
SHS,
what has Nana-Addo done in tertiary education? So we have an educational structure. You have a tree, the roots nothing. Then you tackle the middle, the top nothing. How will it be able to stand?
But
how will the structure be able to stand?
Free SHS is giving access.
The free SHS is
more
a
people
sham.
these days.
It's a sham.
Really? So
yes, I'm telling you this.
Scrap it?
No. But he and Addo himself, all his people, including his head nodding vice president, says that you must review it.
Who? Vice president?
The vice president himself has said it. That yes, we have to review the free SHS.
If there's a problem with it, fix the problem and stop talking about review.
Listen. What is fixing a problem?
So there's a problem.
How do you
fix
fix a problem? You have to look at the issue, review its performance. That's how you can fix it. If you don't look at the problem, if I have to review the manufacturing of this water, what will I do? What will I do?
You have to close down the company.
But of course, they didn't say they
you see, that is what I wish you can read what Imani Vice President Bryce Simmons has written today. I wish I can read it for you. Just read. I will read that one for you. Maybe I will end it on that. But I will not say anything more. He said, I'm happy what you said. He said, it is not the English that you don't understand. Our leaders are redefining the English language and logic we are used to. Review now means cancellation when others use it. It, however, means review when they use it. In essence, who is using the word now has an impact on its meaning too. That is what we are doing. Another example, load shedding no more means doomso. It can mean doom CSA, nana pre, dark and lovely, area fault, etc. Once it happens under Akufo-Addo Baumia.
But that's true.
It's true.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, the issue here is about you, a legacy, a president who has ruled over this country, and his vice president want to tell me in Lante that they have built a legacy. Then I ask myself, what legacy? The legacy of corruption? The corruption under this government is unprecedented.
Agenda 111.
Look, just this week, what has ever happened in this country that can be compared to Sizzla Dapa? Tell me, what has happened in this country that can ever be compared to Sizzla Dapa?
We have ministers.
Mention one.
Ministers.
Mention one.
Where Okujato went to what is the name? Wasimbi. He came to tell us that 200,000 has.
Which Okujato?
Your colleague Okujato in Parliament.
When
was the deputy minister for education? When was the deputy minister for education?
Stop it. Don't depend on rumors.
No, you go ask
We are
him.
talking about facts. We are talking about facts.
The press money.
Anyway, don't worry.
Has anybody said that he has stolen government money?
The fact that the money was in the house.
Is it somebody's money?
She has stolen.
No, I don't know.
She has stolen.
Do you have a fact that he has stolen
No,
the money?
yes.
As the money missing.
According to the constitution,
No, as
if
the
you
money
cannot
missing.
explain, if you cannot,
but she's not been put through the system.
Sorry.
She's not been able
So you
to.
cannot accuse a person that he has stolen government money.
So she's not been put
she's
through the
allegedly
system.
stolen government money. Yes, because no, look, we are not joking here. People are taking it for granted, but that is what is one of the things that you put. That is one of the legacies.
So go and bring Sedinam from US. Go and bring her to come and start the trial. Go and bring her.
No, there's a process. I'm sure there's
That's
a
also
process
the NDC should call her to come.
But I don't know that.
If you can take government money, then the Ghana must go back and meet your campaign team at Pokatamanso.
When? No, we don't know that. We don't know that.
So the NDC should bring, if Mahama says that
we don't
he's
know
going
that.
to review,
that's a matter
if Mahama says that he's going to deal with Sedadapa, the first person Mahama needs to let him come to this.
No, but the state has...
The Mahama sent Sedinama away.
She's been convicted.
But Mahama sent... Mahama carried Sedinama on his back and sent him away.
Wait, let's not degenerate this. So honorable,
were you not in power? Sedinama, didn't he pass through the airport?
But didn't we start the process on...
So continue with the process. And find him guilty.
Okay, so
find her guilty.
No, so she found guilty.
Look,
we need to get them back.
And by July, you about 5 of your people also go.
One of
your
legacies.
You know what the court
is. One of your legacies.
You know what the court is.
Yes.
Okay.
One of your legacies. One of the legacies of this government that the NDC, and I swear, President Mahama will make sure will destroy is the corruption and the nepotism.
Don't talk about corruption when you mention
nepotism.
Because Mahama doesn't have a credibility when it comes to corruption.
Thank you.
Ask Mahama. He doesn't have a credibility.
Don't worry. We can have our argument.
So don't bring corruption when you mention Mahama.
I was
mentioning your name. Because after the landed here, I give you that respect. But Mahama, we corruption, lalai.
I was quiet. And if you walk around, you have not been able to accuse.
But you know the constitution is protecting you.
No, but no, the constitution give a period.
Period.
So that's why
the 4 years
they give a period.
I'll bring my chest out for you.
No.
When somebody talk about corruption. But after Mahama, if the person say Mahama,
but if you have corruption, if you know, you should have talked to him.
You've been in power this time, you'll not be able to.
So honorable conclude.
The legacy, one of the legacies of this government, that I'll be so happy to make sure my president, John Dramani Mahama, in 2025, in fact, from the 7th of January, from the Independence Square, we have to tackle is the issue of Galamsey. The Galamsey that the president down to Eben are all involved in.
You have a Galamsey site?
Okay.
The next one, which is to me hurts me so much, that I think Mahama will have to immediately make sure that Ghanaians will forget about is the nepotism and the destruction of our governance institutions in this country. Look, today, even all the security services, everybody is talking about it. The security services have been so mutilated and politicized that the trust that people even have in them, and that is what is creating all these sorts of insecurity in the country.